It's Monday Night Lights, featuring live racing coverage and handicapping at Assiniboia Downs. Be sure to visit the player portal at asdowns.com for free racing programs, weekly special events, and links to other great information.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Lights at Trust the Profits. I'm Jessica. I'm here with Tim, and we're here to talk about Assiniboia Downs this evening. How are you doing tonight, Tim?
Doing great. A little Belmont hangover, all that great Saratoga racing. But, if you're going to follow up a great weekend of racing, what better track to do it with than Assiniboia on a Monday night?
Exactly. Yeah, we got a decent little card to go through. Couple short fields, but still should be a fun night. We got the free stable duel and a couple of other stable duel games going tonight at Assiniboia Downs. I know that also Naira Bets is doing a promo every Monday this month where if you bet $100 at Assiniboia Downs, you get $20 back, win or lose. So some fun promotions and things, ways to get involved at Assiniboia tonight. And we are 14 minutes out from the first race, and there is the first of what looks like it will be many heavy favorites on tonight's card in this race. The outside Silver Sign. Is this the horse you ended up on today, Tim, in this race?
Yeah, gonna be really hard to beat this horse. I mean, if anybody is even close, I think the 3 driving is one that I was really looking at that I think is probably second best, but it's going to be really hard to beat Silver Sign in here.
Yeah, that was the way I saw it as well. Just kind of 5-3, hard to kind of really come up with anything clever in this first race. The 4 would be the one other horse who at least is lightly raced, could have some improvement coming, but really didn't show a whole lot of anything first time out this meet. So hard to really be confident in anybody except that 5 horse on the outside.
Yeah, and when you look at these, I mean, you have the 2, 4, and the 5 all coming out of the same race where Silver Sign did finish second, and obviously needed that race coming off a layoff since December, and faded a little bit at the end in the 5 furlong race. So this is 5.5. So if you're looking to beat the horse, then potentially it's like if the horse didn't like the distance and it wasn't just a fitness thing, then maybe you've got an angle there, and that's where you look at a horse like Driving, and this is another horse that really probably wants to be on the lead. Silver Sign sat second a little bit in that last race before making a move and then fading at the end. So Driving's probably going to be right there. Neville Stevenson's riding pretty well so far, but I think it's 5-3. And then you mentioned the 4. Bits of Lemon Drops, another one that had a really good season last year. So this is another good horse. And, you've only got a 5 horse race. So every horse is going to get stable dual points. So the one horse will only cost you 500. And I'm sure just about everybody probably took that one.
Yeah, I'm sure that's kind of what the strategy was in here. Speaking of stable duel, did you have any horses that you were kind of keying in on tonight in stable duel, whether they're the short price favorites that make a lot of sense or a long shot that you want to take a chance with?
Well, what I did was, and I mentioned this before we came on the air, you've got in the first race, you've got Silver Sign there at $11,000 horse. And then in the third race, you've got Always the Little One as a $10,000 horse. And, building your stable, you've got to average 5,000. And even with these lower price horses in these short races, it's really hard to take those horses. So what I tried to do was take some of the shorter price horses in the short races, and then pick the horses that I thought really stood out in the other races. And those are the kind of where I spent my money to not spend as much. So I've got a couple of those, and I've got a couple in here that I didn't pick the top favorite and hope that I can get somebody home here.
Yeah, I kind of tried to find a couple of mid-price type horses in the third race. I thought Miss Parfait was the type of horse that makes some sense to hit the board, pick up some points in stable duel at 12-1.
Right. Same one I took.
Keyed in on a horse like Side Street Dave in the 5th race was one of the other ones that I was trying to, with the scratch of Far Beyond. I thought that horse made a lot of sense in the 5th race. So those were kind of a couple of horses that I was trying to see if might be able to get a winner, good second place with a price. And then a few others here and there that I'll talk about as the races come up. I think the one favorite that I did end up going with that was probably going to be pretty heavy is Cussing Cat in race 6.
And then in race 7, the favorite in there is going to be Chicago's Gray. And I actually went against Chicago's Gray. I know that this is going to be the second off a layoff. Antonio Whitehall and Lise Pruitt, that was a deadly combo last year. But I like that race by Brody Streak. I actually watched it a couple of times, and I'm going to stick with Brody Streak and save a little bit of money in that race again. So that was a horse that I went with later on. But when I was filling out my stable duel.
Yeah, I ended up on Gallant Oak in there, hoping that a little distance and second off the layoff, he can make up that 4 lengths on Brody Streak, Chicago's Gray, Blazing Bow, who went 1, 2, 3 in that race, and see what we can pick up in there.
Yeah, that was one I really looked at closely myself. I ended up taking a $1,000 horse elsewhere, but that was one that I was considering taking.
Yeah, seemed like the kind of horse who at the very least should put in a improved effort, pick up some points, hopefully.
So looks like we got some people checking in at the chat. We got Mike in the chat, Tour de Force winners. Absolutely. Congrats to everyone. I dropped the place this week after that big hit by somebody. So they overtook me, but it's still great. One of the best tournaments around, and great to cash with that field and all the great handicappers that's in there. So hello, Keith Mitchell joining us again.
Yeah, Mitchell did great at Belmont apparently, and then not so great at Santa Anita yesterday. Gotta love when that happens. I know that feeling for sure.
I'll have to make sure
Go ahead.
No, my screen blinked out on me here real quick, so I was just getting everything back up. But
get it fixed up, yeah. But yeah, this weekend's racing at Saratoga with the Belmont Stakes Festival last week, just fantastic racing all around. Another exciting finish in one of the Triple Crown races, which that's kind of been the MO for this year's Triple Crown, is they keep beating each other, but they're doing it in really exciting ways.
Absolutely. All right. I'll have to make sure I keep that screen awake. It went to sleep on us there.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I can also try it. I do see that I am actually able to present, which I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to, coming in from a different location than normal. Out here on the East Coast, coming live from my parents' basement. Hit the super. Mitchell hit the super in race 3 at Santa Anita, and then got up to just under 500 and before it all fell apart. We do need a sleepy time horse from Colin tonight, Keith. It's already sleepy time.
Colin
for me
doesn't hang out with us anymore, I guess. You know, every now and then he'll make an appearance in the chat, but it's hard to get a sleepy time pick when he's not hanging out with us.
Right.
But I really like the way that 3 looks so far. What's up, Rodney?
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
6-1 is definitely fair there.
Yeah, especially with the 2-5 on the 5 horse. I mean, I can see taking that horse if you want to spend the money in stable duel, but from a wagering perspective, I will pass on 2-5 in a 5 horse field.
Yeah, exactly. That's just way too short. The horse makes a ton of sense, but hard to really think that 2-5 is worth betting outright. Rodney went all in here for stable duel, which is definitely an interesting strategy, and he likes the 4 in here. who, yeah, we touched on a little bit, a horse that might at least have a little bit of improvement in her. She's a 4-year-old daughter of Accelerate, making her second start of the year. So, and I mean, Accelerate was definitely one of those horses who got better with age. So was her dam sire, Pleasantly Perfect, for that matter. So maybe next thing you know, can show a little bit of improvement second time out. And she did second out. She won first out, but numbers wise, did actually improve second time out last year as a 3-year-old. So I think that horse is a little bit interesting in here.
Yeah, really interesting. I mean, one in a maiden special weight, stepped up to allowance class at Assiniboia and had a sixth, place finish there. But as soon as the horse dropped down to a claiming ranks again, then right there in the second, and that's where we find the horse today back at the 5,000 claiming level. So definitely a lot more interesting there because has clearly showed that the horse can run. So.
Yeah, definitely. So kind of seems like she's found her level here with the 5,000 and gets another half a furlong to work with. And like last year, August, finished second in a race at this level in distance. So horse that makes some sense, definitely. Has races that would be competitive in here.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember Jessica, but last year Elise Pruitt started off absolutely on fire. Has been a little bit cooler this year in the start, but definitely a great trainer and getting Antonio White all up. So
Yeah, definitely.
a pair you can't go against very often.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that horse is taking some money as your second choice at 7-2 right now.
Which is surprising because I still love the three.
Yeah, I thought the 3 was pretty much, I mean, I said last week, my go-to angle early in the meet at Assiniboia Downs is the horse who already has a win at the meet, and that's driving in here. So definitely a horse that makes sense to me. How would we if we want to try and make money in this 5 horse field with our $100 bankroll that we got, what do you think our options are, our best options are in here? Because it seems like a tough race to me to really make money in.
You know what I would do? I mean, I would do an exacta key and key the 3 with the 4 and the 5 and hope that we can get the 5 out of there. And then either way, if we still get the 3-5 at 6-1, it's still probably going to be decent. Let me see if I can check out the will pays, the probables here so far.
Yeah. I think that is the move, I think, here. Let's see. 3-4 or 4-3 would be nice.
Yeah, so right now, if you key on the 3, a 3-4 would be 53. A 3-5 is still $20, and then if you got the 5-3, that would be 11.50. And a 4-3 would still be decent at 37.30. So if we could get the 5 out of there, but even if we didn't, you're still
Mhm.
going to, if you get the 5 in the 3, you're still going to make money even if the 5's on top.
I think that's the maybe that's our play in here. Do we do for $5?
I think so. Key it for 5. Well, if we did it for 5, that's going to be $10 each way. So it'll be a $20 wager
Oh
right off
yeah.
the bat. But
Don't wanna do all that. Not
a
all that.
couple bucks, so do it for 2,
Yeah. Do it for
just to
2.
start off.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So,
Yeah, I think that makes sense to get the 3 because key in the 5 just doesn't really seem it's not a money-making, proposition, really. Alright.
so that 4 is taking a lot of money, which is good for our exacta if we can get this to come in. But if
Mhm.
we can get that 5 out of there somehow, then a decent start.
Yeah,
Even Rodney's
exactly.
going 3-4 with 3-4-5 with 3-4-5. So same 3 horses and trying to get the 5 out of the first place.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way to go. Because I mean, a horse like Bits of Lemon Drop has some races that make sense, but it seems to me like Bits of Lemon Drop wants to go longer than 5.5, a horse you kind of might want to look for a little later in the meet.
I
And then
would
I
agree
noticed
with
Kurt
that.
liked the one who
I'll take that.
I
That's my stable dual play.
yeah, we'll take that works for Stable Duel for sure. I mean, in a 5-horse field, why not take the longest shot? Guess the angle on that horse is you're hoping that she gets out of the gate, because the races where she actually breaks all right aren't too shabby. But those 2 races against winners, she has gotten steadied early on both times. So maybe that's the angle that Kurt's seeing there. But yeah, I think this 3 is the horse kind of to key in on.
I
Should
actually
hopefully
think
get to
it's
the
kind of
front and
interesting as well that only 34% of the people took the one horse, which was at least a free 10 points for five, for the money. So
mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, see where people ended up in here.
So the 5-horse spending $11,000 was 40% of the players. The
Wow.
4-horse is 31%. The 3 is only 13% of players took the 3, and then
Oh
23%
wow.
took the 2. That's really interesting that
Interesting.
so few people took the 3. I thought the 3 looked really good on paper. Has got great connections here, and had a win already over the track. And that Fawner to Assiniboia angle has come in several times already so far. So it'd be interesting to
Mhm.
continue, see if the form continues to hold.
Yeah, I considered taking the 3 for Stable Duel, but I really thought that the horse would be pretty popular in Stable Duel, so I went with the 4 just to spend 2,000 less, and seems like that was a pretty popular way of looking at things in this race for Stable Duel. So yeah, if you have that 3 in Stable Duel, that'll be nice. I mean, you'll get points no matter who you took in here. So
Absolutely.
looks like we should
And
be heading to the gate.
interestingly, the favorite exacta has gone now from the 5-3 to the 5-4, which we'll still take the fact that that's the favorite, because I don't think that that's going to be the way it's going to come. I think the 3 is going to be a
Mhm.
part for sure.
Yeah,
Carol,
5-4 doesn't help us.
Carolina Moon is
3's on
doing
our
a
toes.
pick 3, starting off with a pick 3 with the key in the 4 and the 5 in here.
All right. Best of luck. Not sure I've seen Carolina Mood in the chat before, so thanks for
No,
joining us tonight.
absolutely. Looks like a new person in the chat. So absolutely. Thanks for joining. Win and place on the 2 from Charles. And for those that haven't been here at Assiniboia a lot, this is what is one of the most fun angles of playing this track, is that I look at all of these, and other than the horse coming in from Fawner, it's like all these horses you recognize, right? And
Mhm.
you look at all the names, and you know that you've seen them run last year, and you'll get used to them running back every couple of weeks here. So it's always a lot of fun. And look at that 3 on his toes. I think that 3 is just looking really good on the track.
Yeah, definitely good energy there for driving. Probably gonna get out there and hopefully try and get close to the lead again. Went kind of slow last time uh into that first quarter, but got a
Yeah.
clear lead and held on. So hoping for a similar trip today.
Yeah. JG Funk said it's the longest 2 minutes ever. And actually they did this last week quite a bit in going past the 0-minute mark. And last year it was one of the things that we commented on that we loved about the track, is they didn't mess around. And when it got to 0 minutes, they were loading up. So they need to pick up the pace again, hopefully here soon. But we have one of our tracks that we used to play that we cannot stand that would be 5, 6, 8, 10 minutes past post. And you know which one I'm talking about.
Oh, my home track. But yeah, the very rarely growing up going to Charlestown would I actually end up staying for the last race because it just got way too late.
Yes.
Looks like they are heading to the gate at least now,
They're
so
definitely headed that way.
hopefully won't be too much longer. But yeah, starting out with 6, 7 minute post drag isn't ideal. As far as if you're like me and you're an early sleeper. Yeah, not a whole lot else to say about this race, really.
No, I mean, short field, and we've kind of gone over each and every one of the horses. It's ready for them to just get running here is what we need.
Yeah. And yeah, Scott, the 3 definitely looks ready to go, ready to roll out there. The anti-sleepy pick in the post parade.
Yeah, that's for sure. We do Woodbine on our Thursday nights, and Woodbine will definitely get there. So
All right, it's post time.
now we're going. Is that volume okay, Jessica?
I cannot hear it at this point. Sounds. Yeah.
Hey, somebody let me know in the chat. Are you guys hearing the sound from the video?
Yeah, if they're talking, I am not hearing anything from here. I don't know if it's different in chat.
From the middle, driving goes in. Just 2 left to load.
Yeah, no sound.
Oh. And just waiting on the 2 to 5 favorite Silver Sign to the outside gate.
Yeah, this sounds really weird. I don't know how else to put it. Can hear that he's talking, but can't hear what he's saying.
From the middle, driving, showing some good early speed to the outside. Next thing you know,
There's our 3 like we expected, so let's just get him to hang on.
Yeah, it sounds like the sound is coming through your like your microphone instead of coming directly from your computer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm going to try to redo the window after this race.
Sounds good. And if we can't get it to work, I think I can make it work on my end. So that 3 is getting a clear lead like we expected. 4 and the 5 are chasing. Let's see if we can just go 3, 4.
Driving to keep driving.
Exactly.
He's gone. They're not catching him.
Horse on the rail at Assiniboia, hard, rare sight.
48 seconds, driving, looking good, 16th of a mile to go, and is going to coast to victory. 5-4, Silver.
3-5. 3-5. We'll cash it.
We cash, yeah. We'll take that.
You know.
It's like 3-5-2, possibly.
Yeah, the 4 faded a little bit there. So which again, you know, I kind of expected, honestly, and I was a little surprised that everybody was so heavy on the 4. I didn't like the 4 very much.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you were right about that. But yeah, what was it, 17% of people who had this horse in stable duel?
Yeah, a 13. It was only 13% had this
13.
horse in stable duel, and I really liked it. I should have taken the horse. I really like this horse.
I should have too. You and me both.
But anyway,
That'll gain some
3-5.
nice points.
We start out as with a winner here, and the 3-5. Listen to this with the favorite underneath, $30.20 for a $2 wager.
All right. Great.
That's a good
Way to
start.
start it, and 7-1 on driving.
So that was an $8 wager. So if that amount holds up, that's going to be about a $22.20 profit right off the bat.
All right, we take those.
Heck yeah. And the 3 was 7-1. I mean, if anybody jumped on the 3 with win money, and we loved the 3 here. So I just thought the 3 looked great as he came out onto the track.
Absolutely.
Heck
I mean,
yeah. I
that's
hope
how
everybody else cashed as well.
yeah, definitely seems like a few people had this horse. If the 4 got third, the 4 did not get third for Rodney's trifecta, unfortunately. Bits of Lemon
No.
Drop was the third place finisher in here.
3, 5, 2, 4, and my 1 got me 10 points in stable duel for $500.
All right. Hey, we take that.
Heck yeah. That was what I figured I would get for that, but
Now we get a 4-horse field coming up.
yeah, that one's even uglier.
Yeah, the maidens at Assiniboia are always kind of tough to get a really confident read on. Yeah, let's see what how they opened up odds wise. Are they still? Yeah, still showing the morning line. Let's see.
Yeah, so it's saying a $1
exacta.
$1 exacta was 15.10, so that was 30.20, just like we thought. Let me update our bankroll here.
Yeah, if you had that 20-cent try, you're getting back $6.86, and the 20-cent super $8.53. So
Look at that. One race in, and we're up 22.20.
fantastic. Yeah, those 20-cent tries are.
JG Funk brings up another good point, and this is one thing that we talk about with Assiniboia. This is just a fan-friendly track. When you look at it, they've got the portal. If you have not gone to the Assiniboia portal, you need to go check that out, because they actually offer you programs, picks, and not only do they do picks, they've got the on-track picks from the guys. And then they typically have something like from Horse Racing Nation. They do their picks. A lot of times last year they did the Charting Horse Value. They did Jeff's picks. So they offer you a lot of information out there for free right on their portal. So really a great track. The 20-cent wagers are good. You just heard them talking about VIP Fan of the Night. They do all kinds of fan promotions on track. This is just a really great track to follow along with.
Yeah, absolutely. The kind of track that understands what players want.
Absolutely.
And Rodney asks, what was most surprising at Saratoga this past weekend? Charlie Appleby with 1 win, Dornoch winning the Belmont, or White Abario not firing again? And I would say the most surprising thing that happened at Saratoga this past weekend would be that Cogburn is now the North American record holder for 5.5 furlongs on the turf. Because
Yes.
I think everything else was, for me at least, not a shock.
Yeah, so here's what I would say out of those. Charlie Appleby, I when I handicapped the day, I didn't like a lot of his horses. I think I had one of his horses, White Abario. We all know I love the horse. But I will tell you, I knew that National Treasure was going to give White Barrio everything that he wanted in that race. I didn't expect him to be where he was, but the fact that he didn't win the race didn't surprise me. If I had to pick out of these, honestly, I think Dornoch winning the Belmont is the biggest surprise for me out of those three, because this is a horse that I'll have to reconsider now, obviously, but this is a horse I've just been fading since even before the Bluegrass. I didn't like the horse in the Bluegrass. I didn't like him in the Derby. I didn't like him here, but he proved me wrong. But I will say this, one thing is that track, I don't care. There's been debate about this between people, and I'm not the only one that thinks this. That track was speed favoring, and Dornoch got the trip that I thought Seize the Gray was going to get. I thought Dornoch was going to go to the lead and Seize the Gray was going to set off, and it ended up being the opposite. So if you look, this is the first time Dornoch won without being on the lead.
Yeah, he still was fairly close though, and I think that's really what makes the difference for him is in his last two races, he just had no shot with the trip he got, and then that Kentucky Derby was a lot better than it looked. And this horse showed his hand in the post parade. Like, if you want to see a textbook definition of a horse looking ready to roll, go back and watch the post parade for this year's Belmont, because Dornoch and Mindframe both looked incredible going out onto the track, and they ran 1-2. So if you have want to practice kind of the developing an eye and seeing, okay, what are people looking for in the paddock and post parade? Go look at Dornoch, because that horse, I mean, I texted our group chat, messaged the group chat that this horse just looked like $1 million. And I saw some other folks on Twitter too, were mentioning how good he looked out there. Absolutely. That was enough. And he got his trip, and he showed that he's still, at least the kind of talent that people were thinking he had as a 2-year-old. He's not a world beater, but I don't think anybody in this crop is really that.
No. And I thought Mindframe looked, in addition to looking good, ran a good race. Now showed that he was green in the stretch. And I went back and I watched that several times, and because some people mentioned something on Twitter and I had to go see it. But what I think happened was he reacted to the left-handed whip of Irad. Didn't like it at all.
It was his first time.
It was the first time he'd been hit, because he didn't need to be whipped in any of his other races. So he got hit, and he just was like, headed for the grandstand. So did not like it at all. What's Colin saying here?
He tried to bet, but yeah, the TVG, my dad had the same problem with the TVG app immediately prior to post. But yeah, Mindframe in that race reminds me of, speaking of Irad and with the whip, questing in the Alabama and the Coaching Club American Oaks in, was that 2012 probably? It was Irad's first Grade 1 win. But that filly was one who didn't really react well to the whip. And in those two races, she was much the best. But then you go to her Cotillion, and she gets beat by My Miss Aurelia, one of my favorite races. I love that race because you see the difference between Irad, who, he's hit this horse before, and he should realize that she drifts and she doesn't necessarily like the whip. But meanwhile, you had Corey Nakatani, My Miss Aurelia, who never went to the whip on his horse, and in this head-to-head duel ended up getting the better of Questing and Irad. And it's a really cool race to just watch the different jockeys, how they chose to approach it.
Yes. So a lot of people checking in here in the chat. So in addition to Keith and Colin, John Paley, welcome. He's saying hello.
Thanks for checking in.
Don't know who this guy is. Anybody ever heard of this guy here? Still can't spell hello, Dennis.
Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us tonight.
Absolutely. But I'm looking forward to seeing Mindframe come back. That's a horse has had a couple of really good speed figures. That race was not bad at all. Horse is green, only had 3 starts. It's like, let's see what this horse can do. But I'll tell you what, Jessica, I said this over the weekend, and I will say it again. You just talked about how this is not the best 3-year-old crop. Now, there are some decent horses, but there are no world beaters. But the best 3-year-old horse I thought won this weekend. And it's not Mystic Dan, but she shares a barn with him.
Yes, absolutely. What a performance from Torpedo Anna this weekend, and with 3 shoes at that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
She
really
just
hope.
wanted.
I
She
mean,
was
this is
just
the kind
look.
of year,
She won so handily. She was just running barefoot on the beach.
right? Yeah, she's the kind of horse I think we'll see her against males this year.
Eventually,
I
I
wouldn't
hope so.
surprise if Kenny McPeak doesn't find a spot where he decides to take a shot, especially, if I think they're saying coaching Club American Oaks next, which makes sense. Let's see if she can get the 1.25 mile distance, and then maybe we
Right.
think
And then
Travers or something, and see what happens. And yeah, that's a good point, John, that it's still a little early as far as
right,
quality of the crop. And the thing, I love crops like this. I would honestly rather have a crop like this where they keep beating each other and it's a competitive crop than a crop where you have one horse who's just dominating over and over. That can
right,
be fun sometimes, but honestly, I like these crops where you have, you know, 5 or 6 horses who are really nice horses, and it'll be really interesting. I hope that some of them stick around this year,
right.
that we see some of them as 4-year-olds, because the older horse division is hurting for some star power. And I think there are some types of horses who you could see improve. If
Right.
Sierra Leone, if they can figure out his mind, he's a
Yeah.
talented horse, but a lot of that
Yeah.
is his head and his drifting habit.
Absolutely. And I just want to clarify, I don't think it's a lackluster crop at all. I just don't think that, it's not a world beating crop to where you've got any horses to where you're like, hey, this is a horse that, going to be a horse of the year and going to be a
Yeah.
classic contender and right off the bat as a 3-year-old. And I'm hoping that's what we see. I think there are several horses here with potential as they and just go make money. I'm actually like you, I'm preferring that and hoping that that's what happens. But yeah, I don't think it's lackluster at all. But
Yeah, definitely. And that's like you said, like if you don't have one horse who's getting, a really standout, oh, this is your champion 3-year-old type season, then you're more likely to see horses come back as 4-year-olds to try and pad out that resume for a stud career. So I think that I kind of hope that maybe someone else wins the Travers who, all right, we got Mystic Dan, we got Seize the Gray, we got Dornock. So now maybe maybe a horse like Mindframe puts it together for the Travers. Rodney's waiting for Encino to return, and that's a horse who looks like with a little maturity could be a really nice one. John brings up Forever Young, who it would be great to see if he could come back over for like the Classic or something. I know that there's some kind of different quarantine rules for shipping in and out of the country with Japan, so I don't know if that's something that's going to happen or not. But definitely a fun crop to follow and see what happens going forward. Oh yeah, Nisos. That's a
who
horse that
knows? Who knows
exists.
with Baffert horses? I don't even want to talk about those horses. Let's see them on the track, and when they start winning, that's when I'll start talking about
Right.
them again, because it's
Right.
just like it's almost ridiculous now.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, yeah, now he's got another one that people are talking about. So we'll see. Let's wait for them to come back. Every Triple Crown race this year does have an asterisk because we don't know if they could have beaten Muth. As
Yeah, who was it
we
that
know,
said that? I saw that.
that was the owner, Zidane, right?
Oh,
4 is kicking people in the paddock. Looks like we are heading out to the track now, at least for the second race here at Assiniboia Downs. Only 4 horses. Daisy's a doozy on the inside. Was your morning line favorite and is your current favorite. I thought that the 2 in here was the direction I would go as the odds take over and the 4 is now favorite. They're betting it like a 3-horse race, and that's kind of how it looks. Like 3 of these 4 could win. I'm kind of against the 4 on the win end just because this is a horse. I think of it as a horse who's learned how to lose at this point. Although at Assiniboia, you do sometimes see these types of horses, kind of career maiden types, put it all together at some point and get the job done. But I thought that 2 was interesting just as a horse who's shown a little bit of speed, has a couple of good works coming in, and came out of a race behind Double Barrel Delight, who's a decent horse last year, first time now as a, let's see, a 4-year-old. Which way did you go in here?
Jessica, real quick, is that sound coming through because they're talking?
Nope.
All right, I'm gonna let you
on
try
my
it.
end to see.
I'm gonna let you try it. So I'm gonna stop this one and see if you can. So while you do that, I will talk a little bit here. So yeah, I mean, Daisy's a doozy. I get it. This horse is probably going to be the favorite in here, but you know what? In these 5.5 furlong races, this horse I think is going to want to close up a little bit on this pace, and I don't prefer that as far as you saw that last race, how the 3-horse went out on the lead and really just kind of ran away from everybody. A horse I really like in here is the 4-horse I Am Mila. This is a horse that I think has been in some really good races. Yes, it's something that I don't like a 9-time beaten maiden back, but definitely has some experience. But I think this horse, when you look at some of those that the horse ran against last year, Russian Pearl, Spittin' Kitten, Sparkling Silver, a lot of horses that we know, and those were good horses. So maybe this horse was just getting beat. She was just getting beat by a lot of good horses. So hopefully she comes back this year as a 4-year-old and she can finally break her maiden here. But I like this horse a little bit here. I'm not very familiar with Javaniel Patterson. He has 17 mounts, but hasn't gotten a win yet. So that's obviously something against. And in addition to the 1, also the 2 makes a lot of sense in here. But I'm going to have to see this horse and see how I would not bet the horse at these odds based on the performances last year, just backing up the way the horse did. The works look pretty decent. So looks like she's working into form here, but the 1's a solid favorite, but I'm going to see if I can box 1 and 4 in the exact is the way that I would play it and try to see if I can get that 4 home at a little bit of a price. But I say that and then look up at the screen and the 4 is now 8-5. So much for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like those 3 kind of have been just kind of shuffling around between the 1 and the 4 as the favorite, and the 2 kind of just sitting there as a close third choice. I do have the screen up, but I'm not able to.
Yeah, let me kill mine and then go ahead there.
And we'll see. Just to test the audio here.
Good first out race, made that nice move. I think second start.
Y'all hear
is only going to make her that much better. Is racing
the audio
older,
here?
Though, so it's going to have to.
I hear it. So let's see if
okay. So
somebody
I think
somebody comment in the chat if you guys are hearing the audio there.
It was a good-looking 3-year-old last year, a bit of an improvement, and the price horse. You like the long shot to maybe get second or third. That's the 5. Won't be at the front. We'll be trying to close late. Let's go. 1, 2, and 5.
I think we've got it.
Yeah, Stretch. I
think
Perfect.
so. Yeah,
Awesome.
Scott
Thank
said
you,
here.
Scott.
Number 2, Donna.
Well, so we'll bring that back when they're actually going in.
Yeah.
So what do we want to do? This race. You want to? I
I'll
want
let
to
you call
use
it.
the 2.
I'll let you call it.
All right.
You call it. You call this one. I called the last one, and
Sounds good. I mean, in a 4-horse field, keying the horse in an exacta feels a little a little much. What are the probables for if we were to key the 2? If it were to come like 1, 2, or 4, 2, is that even worth?
So 1, 2 is paying $9.50 for $2, and 2, 1 is paying $11.10. So if you're going both ways and just box in those two, if you're looking at $4, it doubles your money.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Just a little $2.
I mean, we got a little more
Spend
money. You
just a
want to
smidge.
do it for like $5 and just box two for $5?
Sure, why not? Why not?
Let's do it. I mean, we're up $20. I mean, that would still just be $10 and we're still up.
That's true. Fair enough. Yeah, I think the two at the very least should be able to hold on for second. I think this horse gets to the front. And so I'm hoping that's enough. I wanted to key the 2 with the 1 and the 4.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood then. So absolutely. Let me take that one out.
I mean, you got even money on the 1 and 2-1 on the 2 and the 4. So it's not it's a tough race to really make money in. Not a clever opinion, but it's an opinion.
So, John, this track is in Manitoba, Canada. And if I'm not mistaken, it's on an Indian reservation, a Native American reservation, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I think so.
Let's see, as they look like they might be heading to the gate. We're actually might have picked up a couple minutes here. We're only 2 minutes past scheduled post time at this point, so might be picking it up a little bit. Yeah, I did end up using the 4 in here in Stable Duel just because that's the horse who just kind of always runs or race. As long as she's not against Stakes Company, at least. So I think that's the one that I wanted for Stable Duel, but I like this too, as far as the horse to key in here. And at 5-2, she's the best price of the 3 favorites. So, all right, loading in.
Daisy's a doozy, the current even money favorite. The first one to go in.
Good luck to everybody.
Next up, Dawn of the Devil.
Hope we can make a few bucks at least.
Oh, yeah.
With a little bit of help, she's in. Just 2 left to load.
Todd's going with the bad pixie.
Like your emoji
Now
use
just
there.
waiting on Bad Pixie. They're all set. They're at the post. And they're off.
And they're off at Santa Anita.
Stumbling
Oh, wait.
at the start was Dawn of the
The
Devil.
4-horse race threw
From
me.
the outside,
Right.
Mila broke running, and she's going to grab that early lead by a half a length. Now in between horses, Dawn of the Devil says, I want the lead, and is going to do the early battling. 3 wide, Bad Pixie away well today. Close up in third, and Daisy's a doozy.
Oh boy, I don't like seeing that on the 2.
Trailer. The opening quarter, 24
Already being asked.
seconds. I am Mila. With
That
the
one is
advantage
flying.
Now by a length and a half. Daisy's the doozy has pulled the trigger to go after I am Mila. On the inside, Dawn of the Devil and the trailer Bad Pixie. They hit the head of the lane. I am Mila with the lead by 3. Daisy's a
2 for 2.
trying to catch up, but
Well
no
done.
avail. Inside the 16th pole.
All right.
Mila is going to get it done by 4.
Wrong about the
Daisy's
2,
a
but at least I
doozy
had the 4 in
second
stable
best,
duel,
and
right?
it's going to go to Donna the Devil in 4th.
I am Mila. Finally gets the job done in here.
Absolutely.
Quite impressively.
You know, Speed is
the
doing
front
very
did
well,
all
and
that.
it was just like I said about the one having to close, even though the one came with a rush. I mean, the speed in these shorter races just seems to hold really well, and so great job for I Am Mila in her 10th start, breaking her maiden.
10th time is the charm.
And
she
look
did
at
go
that.
off as
She
the
actually went
favorite.
off as the favorite. Absolutely. I was about to say the same.
And the 2 actually ended up second choice. So those 3 had kind of been tossing
Right.
around
Yes. Back and forth.
money. Coming
Look
back
at
looking
it.
like a happy horse.
Yeah, she's coming back trotting to the winner's circle. Be like, let me in it.
See what kind of payoffs here. Did anybody hit anything here? Mountain Mike had a 4 over 1-2 exacta. So there you go. So C. Miller has a good question here about being new to horse racing. Why would you key box a bet rather than an exacta box? You want to take this, Tim? You're a little bit better at articulating betting
Yeah,
strategy, I
sure.
feel
So
like.
basically, when you do an exacta box, you're kind of saying that you like all 3 horses equally, and you're going to, for example, in if you're going to make a $2 wager with 3 horses, it would be $12 because you're playing all 3 combinations. When you key box, what you're saying is of the 3, this one horse that we're keying, that horse is going to finish first or second. And then the other 2 are going to fill the other position. But I don't want the box that contains just the other 2. I want that key. So when you like one horse and you say this one horse is going to be in the exacta, and I think either one of these other 2 could fill out the other position, it's better to key box because it's going to save you a few bucks over just boxing them all, because I don't want the exacta without the horse that I really like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So in here, I thought the 2 was the horse that should stick around and be over there, and I was wrong, but wanted to save the money, especially with these short-priced horses. It just didn't make sense to box all 3
Absolutely.
for what's going to be pretty minuscule payouts. But we'll see what it comes back.
So we didn't get our wager, and that's okay. So even with that, we're still up a couple of bucks because we still have $102.20. Started out with 100. In great shape.
All right, and we still got plenty to go here tonight too.
Oh yeah.
I am Mila still being a little ornery out there.
She's wound up, isn't she?
Still on her toes. Absolutely. So let's see, that 4-1 exacta paid $6.05 for $1. So yeah, it would have cost $6 to box 4-1-2 and an exacta for $1.
Right.
So that's where tried to get cute with it, didn't work out. 20-cent try pays just $1.35.
So in this case, you know, if you actually take and look at if you box all 3 of them, you make a nickel. If you key the horse and you make it, you're gonna make a couple of bucks. So that's the difference. If you're able to key a horse because you like one of the horses of the 3 to be there for sure, and you're just not sure which of the other 2 will fill it out. But no, that's a really good question because a lot of people don't understand key boxes and everybody just boxes. And I'm not a fan of boxing a lot more than just 2 horses myself personally.
Yeah, it depends on the situation for me, but definitely in a race like this where you're looking at the 3 favorites, you have to pick one, I feel like, to to key in order to have any chance of at least trying to make a little bit of money on it. But at least this race here, well, we've got another case of 3 horses vying for favoritism in the third race. With always the little one on the inside is currently favorite. But then you have Philly Fatale on the out as the 5 horse, and she's my priority outside, both at 5-2. And this is the race where I kind of thought Miss Parfait, the 3 horse, was a little bit interesting. Certainly for a stable dual horse. Didn't show a whole lot first time back, but does have some races at the 6 furlong distance in particular that fit with this group. So I'm just kind of hoping that this horse can show some improvement. Not a horse that I'm real confident in from a like betting straight up type of perspective. But as far as stable duel as a 12-1 shot to maybe hit the board, get you a couple points, I thought that horse was interesting. And I had a hard time really liking anybody too much in here. I think that the added furlong helps the 5, Philly Fatale, although I wonder if she might be even better going 2 turns a little later in the meet. But I thought that last race, that her first race off the layoff, was pretty good. And if you go back to last year at Hastings, you had that 30th of May race off of a long layoff, kind of similar, going from October to late April. And then here she went October to mid-May. But she won that first race, but then she stepped up and showed an improved speed figure second time out. So I'm kind of hoping that we see that type of improvement from the 5 in here. So that's where I was kind of leaning. How about you, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I see the 3 horses that everybody's bet in here. Obviously, 1, 5, and 6. There are 3 horses that should be taking the money. When you're looking at everybody else, I think that there is the chance here that you get a couple of horses going out and contesting the lead and fighting each other. So I do think both the 1 and the 5 want to go out and will be on the lead. So if we can get them to tire each other out and maybe back up a little bit. You were talking about Miss Parfait being a good stable duel player, and I agree with that. I actually took this horse in stable duel. But in addition to that, I think this horse has an opportunity to improve second off a layoff here. The works have been pretty decent on this horse coming into this race. I think this is a horse that's going to improve off of that layoff. Didn't show a lot in the first race there, but it was a 5 furlong, and I think that the 6 furlongs is definitely going to help this horse. I think that this horse wants to go a little further. So we will hope that she can close up and maybe the other 2 tire her out for a piece of the exotics there and just get into the money there. And I definitely think that she can. But I'm hard pressed to not bet the 1 in here. I see everything you said about the 5 in here, but if I got to put between the 1 and the 5, put 1 on top, I think it's the 1. So, I would hope I could beat one of them at least, but the 3 and 1 is really the 2 horses that I was interested in trying to play.
Yeah, totally fair. The 1 makes a lot of sense in here as well, especially if she can get that front running trip that she really likes. I mean, you look at the races where she's got the lead, those are her best races. The races where she's kind of had to be second or a couple lengths off haven't been as good. But if she gets the lead, I mean, this is the kind of horse, she gets the lead, she usually draws off to win by open lengths. Todd
Agreed.
says Streamer will be flying. Streamers will be flying with Streamer, the 2 horse. And this is, of course, I didn't give a huge look to, but has some races at the $3,000 level last year.
Right.
Now comes back for Jerry Gorno. Was with Bruce Sanderson at this track last year. And definitely seems to like Assiniboia more than Fawner. So I definitely wouldn't talk you off this horse.
Yeah, I
That
mean, she's finished underneath, a second and 2/3 in 5 races at Assiniboia, but, I I I I just think there's some better horses in here that she's facing this time, so although she had if you look at I think one of her better races, if you, look at the race that she was in last year on 6 September at a mile, and you look at her, races at, Turf Paradise where, also ran a mile, I think that this horse probably wants a little more distance than 6 furlongs, so, yeah, she'll be coming late, but I really think that, she wants longer distance, and that 6 September, I mean, she finished a good second to Anna Kozana. And we all know that that's a really good horse here at Assiniboia.
Yeah, definitely. Horse to look out for a little later in the meet, maybe, as they'll start running longer races
Right.
a little bit later on as the meet progresses. Let's see what did Malathott's been talking. Saratoga had a rough day at Saratoga. Yeah, Ben Doog losing was a big oof for me at Saratoga. That was a little bit questionable ride that got talked about a little bit afterwards. Seemed like the kind of horse who you probably should have tried to open up rather than stick there, but I'm not a jockey. What do I know? Some good racing though. If you could put it together, you got rewarded.
I was laughing at Malathott's comment about tea leaves and praying and did not have a good
Couldn't help.
Saratoga day. I
Yeah,
actually had a
luckily
decent
I
day at Saratoga. I, hit 2 trifectas, neither one of them were anything crazy, but, I did okay that day.
yeah, I went in on a group ticket that I didn't have any input in, so that's always kind of just a crapshoot.
Right.
And yeah, Ben Doog was like the horse we were singling in on and didn't get the job done, so that kind of ruined the whole day. But at least I threw $10 online for myself and put a last minute dollar on Dornock in the Belmont because of how good he looked warming up, and that at least got me up to $19 left over from what I had bet. So, probably could have played a little more on it and would have been really happy if I'd done like Keith and bet the exacta that I gave out in the group chat. But I won't complain about having a 17-1 winner.
It just still amazes me though that on these big race days, as it gets close to post time, that these ADWs are struggling with the amount of bets, and it never fails. Derby Day, Preakness Day, Breeders' Cup, on the Belmont Day again, but the ADWs are struggling with the amount of traffic that they're getting. And look, they with having people's money and people trying to wager, they've got to do something to invest in their infrastructure a little bit and try to improve that backbone, because it never seems to fail that something goes wrong with the ADWs. The one thing I will tell you is that when I'm trying on that, like on my phone, trying the app, forget about it. You cannot bet. But if I go to the website, I always get through on the website. That's why I try to make sure that I'm somewhere where I can, go through a web browser and go into the website and bet that way, because the app always seems to crash.
Yeah, it just seems to be like clockwork on the big days. And I mean, it costs the ADWs money
Absolutely.
because people aren't placing their bets. Malathot did have National Treasure to win, just trying to jinx him. I respect that move. Yeah, White Barrio just seems to be the kind of horse he either runs his race or he just doesn't. He has been transferred back to Saffy Joseph Jr. now. News came out that since Saffy's kind of been cleared in the eyes of Churchill Downs and all.
Right.
They're going to go back to him. And since, the Dutrow hasn't done as much with him the last 2 races, probably not Dutrow's fault, but just
Right.
seems, they said it seems like a good enough time to move him.
Yeah, and I thought it made a lot of sense what C2 was saying is that, that they transferred the horse away from Safi with everything that was happening, with the couple of horses that he had Derby week and everything, and they wanted to make sure that they were able to run him and didn't want to have any problems. And then after he had won a couple of races, it didn't make sense to take him away from Rick. And so now that he's had a couple of races, it's not just because of that, but it was, according to them, their intention all along to transfer him back to Safi, and they just thought that the timing worked. So it makes sense to me. I get it.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. So wishing them the best. Seems like a really good ownership group. So
I'll tell you what, I love those guys and what they do. And you constantly see people talking about horses and kill pens and everything and looking for people to donate. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen C2 Racing Stables make a post and say, "We paid it, go get him."
yes, yeah, you gotta love groups like that, people like that who are willing to put their money where their mouth is as far as
Right.
aftercare and taking care of these horses. So
Absolutely.
lots of respect for them.
Yeah. Seem like great folks.
Definitely. So wishing them the best with White Abario moving forward.
I was wanting to
Hopefully
see
he
these
can find
horses
that form again.
up close here and see if we can get another pick like we've done in the first 2.
Yeah. Tim, you've been one who's had the right horses, so I'll leave the bet making to you for this one.
Sounds good. Let's take a look and see what we got here.
Yeah, see how they look.
In my best Kurt voice, Demario Bino.
That was pretty good.
Sean does it better than I do.
Yeah, he
The
does
one,
it spot on.
The one thing about this one horse is, especially in these short races, is the one hoe has had a lot of problems. Horses in the one hoe have consistently had problems getting out. So we'll see what happens here. But I'm trying to pick a horse.
There's the 5, who's the horse that I'm leaning toward as top pick, most likely winner type of horse. And then she's my priority. This is the 3rd choice in here. Horse who was real wide last time out, has a little more recency. Like every horse in here except for Streamer has a race this year, but she's my priority. Already has 7 races this year, so horse has been racing consistently. Hasn't really had a whole lot of success this year, but might be second time Assiniboia. Maybe figuring out maybe she fits a little better here than over at Fawner. Feel like I definitely prefer the 5 and the 1 over the 6, though, personally. I think I even prefer the 3 to the 6.
I do too.
JG Funk's doing a 2-3 exacta box. Todd's got 2-4 all. We haven't talked about the 4 very much. Scarlet's Flower. Take a look here. Been a while since this horse has been competitive. You have to go back to September 27th of 2022 to find the last time this horse won a race, and the last time this horse was beaten fewer than 5 lengths. So I'd be curious, Todd, what your angle is here on the 4, because honestly, I am not really seeing it.
No,
I'd be very curious to hear what you're seeing.
I've got the 4 last.
Yeah, just not one I could really come to. Has been double-digit odds since that win, which I mean did come at Assiniboia, but yeah. Dan's playing win place on the 3 and a box with the 5 and the 6.
All right, Jessica, here we go. In the third race, I totally agree with everything Jessica just said in that I'm going to fade this 6. The more I look at the 5, I just think that the 5 is going to win this race because of the 1 in the 1 hole. Obviously, I can't keep the 1 out of the try. So look at this. We're going trifecta. We're not playing exactas this time. We're not messing around. We're going to play a $2 trifecta key box 5 with the 1, 2, 3. So we're going to kick the 6 to the curb and hope that we can get a price. And maybe if we get lucky, we even kick the 1 out and get the 2 and 3 underneath of this 5 and then go all the way to the bank with the trifecta. So that'll cost you $12 if you're playing along. And this is another example to where it's really good to play a key trifecta instead of boxing all 4 horses. That way we don't have to worry about nearly as many possibilities because we're going to play the 5 in every possibility with only the 1, 2, and 3. So $12. It's like actually boxing 3 horses.
I love that play. I think that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I think that'll pay all right, especially I mean if we can get with the 2 and the 3 involved. That would be all right, especially, we got the short fields, so not the kind of races where you're going to if we're right with the 5, not going to get big balloon payouts, but should still I like that bet a lot. I think that's a great play.
What we really don't want is we don't want the 5-1 or the 1-5. We want 2 and 3 in between those horses. If those happen to be your first and third, we want at least the 2 or the 3 in between those horses and not getting both of them in the exacta. But let's see what happens here. But definitely. I just think just like in the first 2 races, the horse I liked a lot on the track, and I think the 5 looks much the best on the track right here.
Yeah, I'm liking the way the 3 looks out there as well. So I think if we could get 5-3, 3-5, that would be all right. As they head toward the gate. And the 3 and the 5 are also both coming out of a race behind Miss Z, as is the 6, who's going to race a little later on the card. I don't remember offhand which race. In the next race.
It should win later on the card.
Yeah, she is my top pick in the next race.
Right.
So get a little gauge on how that May 21st race is coming back. All right, it's post time. Good luck, everybody.
Let's do it.
The front gates are open for always the little one.
Always the 1 horse causing trouble.
I'm telling you, it's like
she'll be the first to be helped into the starting gate.
Some kind of possessed post position or something.
Right.
So it looks like the free ride at Stable Duel is updated. Post what position you're in if you're playing along. I'm currently in 108th position of 148. But I will say this, I've only played a couple of horses so far, and the people at the top right now have played like 5-6 horses. So they took those short fields. The person in first has played 7 horses in 2 races.
Oh, wow.
So that's why they're in first. And a lot of people do that in the short fields because they figure, you know, I'm going to cash all these and I'm going to have a first, a second, a third, and I'm just going to try to get more firsts. Me personally is the way that I try to attack the game. But I get it. It's a strategy that works for some people. Here we go. Let's go.
Scarlet Flowers' turn.
Get them in there.
Just 2 left to load. The 6-5 favorite, Fatal. And now just waiting on She's My Priority.
So Rodney's in first and second in the $5 game, and he's in ninth in the free game.
Oh, nice. Rodney does well at these. All right.
Here we go. And the one did break slowly.
From the middle, that's Scarlet's Flower.
But is now going to rush the rail.
But on the inside, always a little one. Now shoots free and grabs the lead by a length. Pasted on the outside, Philly Fatal. Now a length and a quarter behind. Settle back in third. Scarlet's Flower. She's My Priority to her outside. Another 2 back. That's going to be Miss Parfait, and Streamer will be the early trailer. 23-3, the opening quarter, and always
comes at 6. Get back 6.
Living life large on the front end, and up by 3. Philly Fatal in second. She's My
This 3 to get running.
In an all-out drive.
We do.
3 wide and back to Scarlet's Flower. The trailers Parfait and Streamer. They hit the head of the lane. The half 46-2. And always the little one has the lead by 5.
But 6 is busting us up.
Showing some good life run. A 16th of a mile to go. Always the little one. She's My Priority. Is gonna get it done.
Didn't quite get second.
Get in the try.
Looks like always the little one held on, but Miss Parfait with a good rally to be in the photo.
All right, so didn't have that one. I'm not really upset about it though. I just didn't really think the 6 made as much sense as the other favorites in there. But hopefully some of you guys had it in the chat. Did look like the 1 held second just barely.
The Stewart's poster number 6, She's My Priority. As the race winner, a photograph has been called to determine the place and show position.
Getting the 3 second would have been nice for
I'll take that 3 though for $750 in stable duel.
59-2. Time for the 6 furlong.
Yeah, looks like 36% of people had the 3. Only 19% had the winner here. And then 17% had the 1.
Results of the photo show number 1, always the little one.
I will tell you that Antonio Whitehall is just ice cold for how well he normally rides.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was well positioned there with the 5 and just did nothing.
Yeah, it really looked like the horse. And so maybe I kind of mentioned I thought that the 6 furlongs would be better than maybe this 5 horse wanted 2 turns. So right. I'm still gonna keep an eye on Philly Fatal moving forward in the meet. But guess 6 furlongs might not have been enough. I was hoping it would be against this group. It will be She's My Priority. Got the job done in here. And is one of the horses coming out of that Miss Z race. And we're about to see Miss Z in the next race. So decent form holding up there for that one.
That one's official.
And actually looks like that's going to make the 3rd next out winner out of that Miss Z race because the 2nd and 3rd place finishers both have already come back to win as well. That exacta 6-1 will pay $10.40 for $1. 20-cent try paid $7.94. 20-cent super paid $12.89. And if you got that pick 3 for 20 cents, that's $29.64. So not bad considering some pretty logical horses. I wouldn't have had the 6, but plenty of people did since the horse was 5-2. But all right, we turned the page.
I should have went with my first gut bet on that one, and I didn't because we would have had the try. No, I mean my first one was I was gonna the way I was gonna key it was 3 with the 156, and I was like, I've got to get one of these horses out of here. But if we'd have played that, I mean, $12 would have got us $79. So hindsight, stick with my gut.
That's the biggest, most fatal flaw.
I shouldn't have changed it up. But I'll take that 30 points I'm going to get from Miss Parfait in Stable Duel. So my Stable Duel strategy is still okay because so far I've had 20 points from Bad Pixie in the last race for 500. I just got Miss Parfait for 750. In the first race, I got 10 points from Move to Order for $500. So it's just like I've had all these low paying horses low costing horses that have been doing okay. And in the next race, we start to spend some of our money. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, I'm kind of wishing I'd have splurged and gone with Miss Z in this next race on Stable Duel. But I took Kim's Texas Bling, and I threw Blame It on Brew in there. This was a horse that was just a little bit curious to me coming back after over a year layoff, but is coming back down to the $5,000 level. Has run well fresh before, though admittedly not this fresh. Just a horse that I thought might be a little bit interesting in here. A horse to pick up a little bit going in here at Stable Duel as a 15-1 shot to just kind of take a shot on. Not a horse I have a whole lot of confidence in. One I'm going to want to definitely look at on the track. But Miss Z is the horse to beat, opens up as your even money favorite, and it makes a ton of sense. I've been talking about horses who win at the meet. She checks that box. She's actually on a 2-race win streak right now. She looks like she's quite possibly the fastest horse early in this race. And we've now seen 3 horses come out of that May 21st race that she won come back and win. So yeah, Miss Z looks tough in here. What were you thinking in this race, Tim?
Yeah, so I was telling you, this is where I start to spend up in Stable Duel because I did spend the money for Miss Z. And this is where I was saying that I was trying to play against a couple of the favorites early on in Stable Duel, which actually would have worked out the way that things have played out. So I'm glad I didn't spend that big money for some of those horses. And I went with some of those lower costing horses to some of the value plays to get me to this point. And this was one of the horses that I couldn't pass up paying the money for. I thought that Miss Z was much the best in this race. So I think that this horse is going to win easy out on front. A horse that I did like for a bit of a price in here is another horse I took in Stable Duel is the 3 Giddy Up Zoe. And Demario Bino dude is on fire. 29 races and he's won 8. Okay. So he's won 8 of 29 races and he is just really riding well. But the horse is coming off a layoff. I get it, but this is another horse that shows early speed. I look at these workouts. You see the bullet back on the 12th of May, best of 9, the last 2, 49, 48, and 3, 3rd of 16. So this horse looks like that she is definitely ready to fire. So at this level, I think that at 5.5 furlongs, it's a horse that I remember this horse from last year, and it's a horse I think you have to include here. And to me, I'm going to try to put those two horses together and hope I can get the three underneath at a little bit of a price and try to cash an exacta. But I really thought that she makes a ton of sense in here. So I still think Miss Z on top, but I'm going to try to play Giddy Up Zoe underneath at currently 13-1. I absolutely love that horse. Kim's Texas Bling is a horse that has really done well at Assiniboia. This horse over the last couple of years that we've been watching Assiniboia. It is a horse that last year you look at Assiniboia in total, 15 races and in 5 wins, a second and 4 thirds. So 10 out of 15 in the money. A third of those are wins, but the horse has been off for a little bit. And I think I would like to see a race or two out of this one. And like I just said, Whitehall is, I mean, he's just not the Whitehall we saw last year. He's really, he's off to a really slow start, comparatively speaking. So I don't like this horse underneath. A lot of people have this horse second right now at 5-2. So I'm going to pass on that and try to get a price underneath.
Fair enough. Yeah. I like that Kim's Texas Bling is 2 for 2, going 5.5 at Assiniboia. The one question mark, I guess, if you want to try and beat Miss Z, which I don't think either of us really do, but she is kind of starting to climb back up the class ladder after dropping into those 4,000 races last year. I mean, but she has back class to go back to. You see fourth being a length and a quarter in a stake to start her Assiniboia journey last year, and then second in another stakes. But then they kind of were trying her in these allowance optional claiming 15-10s, and she was doing all right, but wasn't really finding her spot. And it seems like she's gotten the confidence back at the $4,000 level with those 2 wins, and now they're stepping her up into the 5,500 level. And because of the claiming rules at Assiniboia, she's not eligible to be claimed even for this price. So, you know, if you wanted to try and nitpick about her, that's the one nitpick, but I don't really think I don't think it makes a difference because of that back class and the horse proving that she can be competitive in allowance races and stakes races here. But just something to say about her.
So Todd, I looked at this horse because when I first looked at the PPs, I was sitting here and I was like, oh, this horse has ran pretty well, and then against much better and everything. And then I'm like, oh, that's 2022. This horse has been off for 21 months. The works don't jump off the page to me. If you look at this is an owner trainer, Norbert Cashane, hasn't even raced with a horse yet. Siobhan Bell is riding okay, but has 1 win. Yeah, I'm I'm gonna have to see this horse do something before I would play any of my money in any position tonight. It's like I just don't see anything to like there.
Yeah, I did use this horse, like I said, in stable duel, just hoping that she can pick up the pieces a little bit. But it is interesting that the horse is entered for a tag. I'm not sure. I'm double checking my waiver claiming rules right now.
Right.
Claiming price of the last race in which it last started. Okay, so that's why she isn't eligible to be entered for the waiver claiming. So in Canada, if a horse has been laid off for a certain length of time and then is entered for a claiming race at either the same level or a higher level as that last race, then they're allowed to be ineligible to be claimed for a single start. Since this horse was not in for a tag last out, I assume that that's why that doesn't apply to her.
Right. And if you look in here, the 3, the 4, and the 6, that all applies to, because otherwise I can tell you, I don't think any of them would be in this race. I
Yeah,
don't think
no,
they'd want to risk any of those horses. That's why I really like the 3 and the 4 here dropping in, for the tag at this level, not having to worry about losing the horse. So it makes a lot of sense to me.
yeah, exactly. With Miss Z, they can get her one more race at this level and then go back. Hopefully, I would think that they're kind of thinking of trying to get her back into those allowance optional claiming type races that she was racing at
Yes.
the meet last year.
Absolutely. I mean, it makes when you look at the conditions of every race that she's been in, you're like, why the heck is this horse here? And that's all it is, I think. And and maybe they're looking, she was able to, because she was in for the tag last time. It's like, so maybe she just qualified on conditions based on that. Because we say the other day that they get 2 now.
Yes, they have if they've been off for longer. So if a horse is not started since February 21st of this year, then they get 1. If the horse has been laid off since November 23rd of last year, then they get 2.
Okay.
So, and that's kind of seems like they're trying to encourage the Assiniboia horses to stay here at Assiniboia rather than ship elsewhere with
Right.
that rule. And so Miss Z actually was not eligible. She was also had the claim price waived in that last race, that first race back.
Right.
So seems like they made a very good claim here. Did owner trainer Douglas Mustard when he
Right.
picked her up for $4,000 on September 19th last year. Later up, got a win immediately back at the same level. Now he can try and step her up a little bit and still be safe to keep her, see how she does. And even if, for instance, they think, oh, I'm not sure that we could move her up. If you enter her for 55 and she gets claimed, well, you've now won 2 races with this horse and you made 1,500 on the claim tag alone.
Exactly.
So makes a lot of sense. This is a really nice horse, really savvy claim by the owner trainer there.
Yeah, I just popped the paddock up here because I just thought it was interesting as Kurt and Stretch were both talking about their picks here. They're both taking the 6 in here, Kim's Texas Bling with Antonio Whitehall up. And I was just a little surprised. And Stretch only has Miss Z in 3rd. So I'll take their money. I'm okay with that. It's like the public doesn't agree with them. Miss Z is still 7-5.
Mm-hmm. And they both like the 5 as well, Racino, who this is going to be her first time at Assiniboia Downs for Wendy Anderson. Does have a bullet over the track, though, on June 5th. So, interesting horse there, perhaps. Looks like she might need to show a little bit of improvement from that Hastings form. Just looking at the
Absolutely.
numbers that I've got here. But that bullet work could indicate that maybe that's in the cards. Did run second off of a similar layoff last year in a $4,000 claiming spot at Hastings.
Yeah, has
So,
not run at Assiniboia, so has not raced. I mean, has that workout that you were talking about, has a few workouts. So the horse has obviously been here. So, but Wendy Anderson, and it doesn't show Wendy as being a new trainer here. So I'm guessing that this is a horse that she just trained that she had elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not sure that's a horse I'm really interested in using here.
No,
But I see the angle at the
I
very
do too.
least.
Right.
That bullet coming in, hoping that she's found a spot where she fits here at Assiniboia. Looks
All
like they're
right.
about to head out onto the track.
Yes.
So I guess that means we have to try and come up with a bet here. And I think Miss Z just wins this race. I think that that's just kind of a given, which is always a scary thing to say.
It is. I mean,
A
but
great way to get a horse
you
beat
know
is
exactly
to
how I bet, and that is, to me, that's the only way that you should bet, is when you have strong opinions. So that should be the races you really bet on. And we always enjoy when we're doing these races at Assiniboia, or when we're doing the cocktail lounge, to put in a wager for every race. But that is not how I typically play myself. It's like, if I
Yeah.
don't have a strong opinion in the race, I'm not playing it. And this is one, like I told you, up to this point, I've liked those horses as we watched them. But when I was looking on paper, this was my first strong opinion, was Miss Z in this race. So absolutely agree
Yeah,
with that.
absolutely.
And that is, whatever I played personally, I would be keying Miss Z right on top.
I was honestly just kind of thinking, what are the will pays with her on top? Like, is a 4-6 exacta going to, my thought is, do we just go 4 all in the exacta? And would that be reasonable with the probable payoffs?
Well, if it comes 4-6, you're
Not
going to
with the
lose money if you
6.
go for
Yeah,
all. But anybody else
yeah,
comes
that's
in, you're going to make money. And here's the thing. So if you were betting just on a $2 base, as an example, you're going to pay $10 to go all. And if it came 4-6, you would get back 6 of that. So you would lose of $4 of every 10, you know. So, but if you hit one of the others, you're going to get paid.
all the others are really nice
And I tell you,
payoffs, actually.
I love the 4-3 myself personally, and that's paying $40.50. So I like that a lot. But
Yeah, you've kind of sold me on the 3 here, for sure. I trying to decide if the move is to cut some horses, you know, maybe cut the 2 just off of that long layoff to get it to where at least 4-6 you break even. Because I do think 4-6 is a pretty likely outcome, but so does everyone else, clearly, based on
exactly.
the probables
So
here.
so here's the thing, you know, what about a 4 and a 6, and 4 with a 3-6? Or do you think 1 and 5 are horses that you wouldn't want to leave out? So
I I worry that the public seems to like the 1, which I realize isn't necessarily something that should be influencing your opinion necessarily. It's the kind of horse where I wonder if I'm missing something. Horse has speed. Yeah, why don't we just go 4 with 3-6? I think that's a good move.
for how much?
Um, $3.
Okay.
Just a little $6 bet. Or no,
Sure.
that's 4 with 3-6. That's only 2 horses. Yeah, sorry. It's been a long week.
No, that's
My
fine.
math isn't
I'm
my
just
math.
waiting to make sure that's what you want. So
Yeah, let's do it. 4 with 3-6. Just straight exacta.
there we go. Our official bet is a $3 exacta. We're keying the 4 on top with the 3 and the 6 horse.
Kevin's got $8 on the 6 to win. All right. 6 is your second choice here at 2-1. That's the horse that I used in Stable Duel along with the 2, just trying to hope that horse can pick up third or fourth for a couple points in Stable Duel. Let's check the Stable Duel standings, see where we're at.
That's what I was just doing.
Looks like I am 95th in Stable Duel right now.
You're what?
95th.
Okay, I'm 108th still. And I was trying to see where Hot Rod's in 12th in the free game. I'm trying to see if I notice any other names here. Tupaloop,
Yeah,
Matt's
recognizing it.
in 25th.
All right. Sean's in 69th.
Just saw that as well.
I'm just beating El Hombre, who's sitting in 98th.
Yes.
So if anyone else is in the Stable Duel, drop your stable name so we can follow along with you. All right,
So
Rodney likes the bet, so that makes me feel good.
I do too. I think that's a good bet. So I mean, I love the 4 here, and then if we get the 6, we'll make a couple of bucks, and if we get our 3, then we'll make a few bucks.
Feeling pretty good about it, yeah.
Todd is in 121st.
Mushroom Eater. Noted. I don't know how to follow people anymore in Stable Duel. I think they might have taken that feature away.
So here's the crazy thing. I mean, you can actually go to the leaderboard and click on people to follow them, but it doesn't do anything anymore, because before, when you followed them, you could see them in the game, but now you can't. So I don't like that at all. And I've provided that feedback to them a couple of times, but I guess nobody cares.
Right.
You know, because before, where the horse is, that kind of shows how many left, you know, that's where it changed colors, and it let you know if it was a stable. And I've told them, you know, why can't you just change the color of the icon if the person there, you know what I mean? It's like, make it a different color icon if that person is someone I follow. Seems like it would be simple enough. So.
Todd's got the 6 and the 4 in Stable Duel. I think you're gonna pick up some points that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Williams has the 4.
I'm looking here at the horses, and the horse that I like the most on the track has been doing well tonight. And unfortunately, in this race, it's the 6. I don't want to like the 6.
Right. The 5 is a tanky, compact daughter of Data Link.
Yes.
Sensational on the bottom. That's who she looks like.
Yeah. Baby got back.
He was a fast horse. Right.
Big, strong, powerful back end.
Definitely looks like a sprinter.
All right, let's go. Let's win one for the people here.
Yeah, let's make a little bit of money at least. What is that? All right. Looks like 4-6 is paying 4-1. So, you know, if you can turn this even money shot into a 4-1 shot, but that 4-3, you got $13 for every dollar. So let's root that home. Rick's got a trifecta. He's playing here, keying the 4 on top as well. Loaded into the gate. Let me get the audio going here.
He's set to go in.
280 people watching. We want to thank everyone for tuning in and enjoying Monday Night Lights with us. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like the video and follow along. Consider subscribing to the channel.
To the outside. The field is set. They're at the post.
Let's go.
And they're off. Miss Z away alertly from the middle, but matched by Giddy Up Zoe. And a
Giddy Up Zoe.
3 across the track early. Now SC Angel.
Look who's checking in.
Nose to nose. Miss Z.
The formula.
It's going to stalk those two.
Are you back? Are you back in the States here?
4 lengths back.
Where's he checking in from? I mean, the man's been all over. He's been in Amsterdam.
Right.
He's been in Belgium. He's been in France.
23-2 the opening quarter.
There she goes.
And there goes Miss Z.
She has found herself on the front.
Need this 3 to kick in
Come
the
on,
gear
Zoe.
here.
Come on, Zoe.
SC Angel. Thirds Giddy Up.
We need that 1 to back up. Come on, Zoe.
Starting to show run. They hit the head of the lane. It's Miss
Z's
Z.
getting a
Sliding
little.
back inside.
Here comes
6
the
is
6.
flying. Come on, Zoe.
We need Miss Z to hang on. Where's the wire? Where's the wire?
Oh, I told you what it says. Who looked good on the track?
Right.
Oh, goodness.
Should have tried to work out some kind of trifecta with those 3, but all right. Felt just Miss Z just looked too good to
So far,
pass
my
up,
my
but-
post parade picks are all over it.
right. That's what we got to key in on.
And there's Antonio finally getting a win after we don't play him.
Kevin's hit that his $8 win bet on the 6. So congratulations there. And yeah, she looked good doing it. Easy win there for Kim's Texas Bling, who's now 3 for 3, going 5.5 furlongs at Assiniboia Downs.
The stewards are posted number 6.
I mean, we had the 3 horses, 4, 3, 6. That's like,
As your race winner.
Yeah, we had the right horses, just didn't get them in order for the bet. Todd's feeling good with Stable Duel because he had both of those horses in Stable Duel.
I had 3 and 4, so didn't have the winner.
I had the 6, but I also had the 2, so that's not going to help me out much.
All right, we got to get back on the winning side here. We're down to $84. So,
Right.
But
All right.
here we are, though. 4 races in. We've only lost $16. We got 3 more to go. Plenty of time to recover.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Jessica, while this goes official, I'm going to run and grab a refill of my drink here real quick.
Sounds good. We'll hang out here, wait for this race to go official. Todd, did you have the super there? That might be all right, even with the top 2 finishers being the 2 favorites. Let's see, it has gone official. Take a look at the payouts here. Pull them up here just to make life easier. All right, yeah. Kim's Texas Bling ended up paying $5.40 to win. That dollar exacta 6-4 paid $5.95. 20-cent try $4.83. 20-cent super $23.91. If you put together that pick 3 for 20 cents, that's $10.44. So, been a pretty logical night, despite us not really being able to capitalize on it yet. But hopefully we can change that here in race number 5. Got another fairly short field coming up with the scratch of the 5, Far Beyond, who was your morning line favorite in the 5th race, which I assume means that we'll see Side Street Dave, the 4, taking most of the money in here. To me, that seemed like the horse to beat. El Hombre just cashed out his 401k and took out a massive home equity loan for the last 3 races. You better wait for Tim to get back. My bets have not been hitting tonight. It would be great if I could find a 25 to 1 shot like last week to close out the card with, but I'm not sure that we're going to have any horses in that price range here because pretty short fields, pretty logical looking group of races here. And yeah, in this race, Side Street Dave opens at 3 to 2 and does look like the horse to beat. And again, the other horse in here, to me at least, does kind of look like the 2, Dino's Cape. Repeating myself here, but I like a horse who has already won at the meet at Assiniboia, and that's Side Street Dave in here. But Dino's Cape is coming now second off the layoff for Jerry Gorneau, and was only beaten a length and a half by Side Street Dave last out and was favored in that race. Oh, well done, Todd. What did you end up with? Kevin, I was pretty all in on Resilience in the Belmont, but and the Trust the Profits crew can attest. Last minute, I threw a win bet on Dornock because of how he looked in the paddock, and that at least paid for all of my losing bets on Resilience. So hopefully you had it, because I made my money back and a little more, but I definitely didn't. Not paying for that upcoming wedding with my Belmont Stakes winnings. Or
Yeah,
anything here at Assiniboia Downs tonight, unlike Todd.
if you throw Dornick out, the 3 horses behind him is my trifecta I had.
And that's how it goes, isn't it? I just wish I'd said something about him a little more on my Monday show. I did mention him on my Monday show as being a horse that I thought was sneaky, but that I didn't have a lot of confidence in. And then the way the track was playing absolutely helped him and made him a little more logical in that spot. So one of those things where I felt like I had to go with Resilience because I loved him in the Derby. I really liked that horse in the Derby, and I was gonna just feel absolutely silly if I didn't bet him back. But we'll see him again at shorter races. I think Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile down the line might be more his game for Resilience. And yeah, Tim, what did you think about this upcoming 5th race here at Assiniboia?
I mean, it looks like every other race tonight, honestly, and that is that you've got a horse that kind of stands out a little bit, and for me, that's the 5 horse here. I do see the 2 and the 4 as being the horses that
The 5
look
is
like.
scratched.
What's that?
The 5 is scratched out of this race.
Right. That's right. The 5 is the one that scratched. That's right. But anyway, so the 5 was the one that, within Antonio Whitehall that was going to take all the money. Side Street Dave is now going to be that horse that's going to take all the money. But interesting thing about this race is I believe this is our first 7 furlong. Have we had a 7 furlong this year?
I am not certain.
I don't even know. And
But
if you're not familiar with Assiniboia, I mean, that's a 2-turn. That's 2-turn race. So we're going to go 2 turns here and at 7 furlongs. And I tend to like the inside horses here at Assiniboia when you go 2 turns, and the horse that's on the inside here is Marvin Buffalo, and this is a guy that uh, last year and he was killing it, absolutely killing it in the stakes races. And I want to say he was
Mhm.
winning at something like 50% early on with all the stakes races. And this is not that, but he's a good trainer there at Assiniboia. And this is a horse third off a layoff. Bino getting back up. I like the inside post position. This horse is obviously going to be closing up a little bit, most likely. And I don't think the horse is without a chance here. I really don't. I think that that with the scratch of the 5, I think it kind of opens things up a little bit more. But the another one in here that really interests me was the 3 horse. This is a horse that that last race is a little bit better than it looks like, and those were some horses, some of these same horses with the race that the 4 won last time out. So here you've got a big favorite, and this horse was in that particular race, and that was the first race since being off since January. Coming here to Assiniboia, this is a horse that had been at Gulfstream Park previously, so this is a Calumet farm bred horse. And the interesting thing to me is when you look at a horse like this coming into this race, the horse is going to get a 10-pound weight break in here with Paris getting up. So I just think it's a horse that's interesting at this level to be getting that kind of a weight break. And when you look at that 21 May workout, the works are good. So I think it's a horse that could, I don't think it's a win contender, but I think it's a horse that at a price who could definitely get a piece of this. And the price is now 5-1 in this short field, but that's still, the 6 is now 6-1. So it's still one of your longest 2 shots on the board. But I think the 4 horse in here is probably going to be the favorite, but the 1 to me is the win contender. I'm going to play the 1 on top over the 4 and hope that maybe the 3 can get underneath at a price as well.
Yeah, it's always kind of tough when you have these horses that are all coming back out of the same race. And, the difference between the 1 and the 2 was a quarter of a length, finishing 3rd and 5th in there.
Right.
And a matter of, okay, so now you have horses 2 and the 3 are now 2nd off the layoff. The 1, like you mentioned, is 3rd off the layoff. And the 4 is definitely the horse to beat because he beat him last time. But I think that you're more likely to see improvement from one of those inside 3 horses in here coming, first or second or third off their layoffs. So I think that, the 4 is the horse to beat, but I don't know that he's one you can really, he's definitely not a lock.
No, and at 8-5 in a 5 horse race, I'm going to try to beat the horse. So.
Definitely. And as far as where you go, I mean, you're going inside to the 1. I do kind of want to lean toward the 2, but also I completely see your case on the 1. The current
The one's a stretch.
6.
The 1 is a stretch to me. I think the 4, probably the 4 and the 2 both look better than the 1 on paper. So I totally get seeing the 2 over the 1. The 1 is just one of those to where I'm just looking at all of the information given to me here saying who could improve and possibly doesn't necessarily look like the horse on paper that could win. And I think this is that horse.
Fair. Yeah, absolutely.
So our friend
Sean loved the 2
checking
last
in
time
here.
out. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. El Hombre, get in here and tell us what to do. Tell us what the right thing is. Dennis would probably go with the 2, hope that the 1 and maybe the 6 on the stretch out put a little more pressure on the 4. Definitely fair. Was a game effort last time out from the 4 horse. Lost the lead and came back,
Yeah, I
but
honestly, I
not a
think it's the
particularly
2 that
fast
I think
pace.
it'll be the 2 that'll be putting pressure on the 4, and to me, the 1 is the one that's gonna probably sit off of those a little bit, I'm hoping, and then sweep past them all. Hombre says he'll be in next week.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. I will miss next week, I believe, is the day I will be attending a concert.
I have a
But
concert this
I'll be back
Wednesday.
after that.
I'm going to
It's
see Earth,
exciting.
Wind, and
Who are you going to
Fire
see?
on Wednesday. Earth, Wind, and Fire
Nice. I'm sure that'll be a fun show.
with Lionel Richie of all people. I'm more going for the Earth, Wind, and Fire. But
I'm going to see Idola, which is a band that maybe only Dennis has a chance of having heard of, but my favorite band. Anyone who follows me on Twitter has probably heard of Idola, actually, because I tweet about them all the time.
well, I've seen some of the music that you post, and it's just, let's just say, not my taste, but that's okay.
Respectable. Respect that.
No, and I don't dislike it. Music's
Mhm.
something that I actually love, and I'm actually pretty eclectic when it comes to music, but I like just about anything except, and I'm probably going to piss somebody off in the chat, but I just don't do country.
Fair enough.
At
Yeah,
least,
no, my music taste is definitely not for everyone.
Bobby D, actually, that Van Halen tour to where Earth, Wind, and Fire was with them. I think they kicked off the tour here in Louisville. I think it was the first stop, and I actually saw that show as well.
Horse is heading out to
I'll
the
tell you.
track here.
I'll tell you what was a really cool concert that I saw was it was also here in Louisville, Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire. And
I bet those are good shows.
yeah, and I mean you may look at it and think that it's two kind of contrasting, but I mean they both have like that big band kind of sound, and so it was
Mhm.
pretty cool because Chicago played a set and Earth, Wind, and Fire played a set, but then they played a bunch of songs together, and it was just a really good
Oh,
show.
that's really cool. Yeah, no, that sounds awesome.
All right, let's get serious. The horses are on the track. Let's see what we got here coming out. Take a look. The post parade picks have been doing pretty well, so let's see who we like.
Yeah, let's take a look here at them coming out on the track.
So Joe here is doing. He's
Oh,
the
that is
one
my
that got
internet.
picked, and Joe kind of is Joe in the chat tonight? I think he's been in before. So
Let's see here.
yeah, no Nickelback
Yes,
talk in the
view of
chat.
horses.
We ban people that talk about Nickelback.
They're not good, but they're also overhated. That's my take. That's my hot take.
I won't argue. All right, here we go. Let's see what we like here.
Let's see. Yeah.
Not a cat, but a card. How's that, Dennis?
The 9-year-old. Dino's Cape was the closest to Side Street Dave last time out. Watch the Music. Is that the hunch play based on our conversation.
Well, that's the horse I said with the weight break I really like here a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. No surprise.
Yeah, for me, it's the 4 and the 6 in the post parade.
Yep.
None of them really massively standing out, but that's kind of Assiniboia as a rule. But yeah, the 4 looks good.
Yeah,
He looks
that's
chill.
why I say the four looks the best, and unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hard to make a whole lot of money, but at least we got a 2-to-1 favorite this time.
Let me check something here real quick. So normally this happens. So okay, so the 4-2 exacta is the favorite in the exacta pool and is paying $12.30 for $2. So that's not horrible.
Okay, yeah.
But if we can get one of the horses underneath, I like that one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's paying 28. The 3 horse who I thought could be an underneath play is paying 36. The 6 who looked good in the post parade is paying 34.
This is a 7 furlong race.
This is 7 furlongs,
Neil.
Neil. I guess we all saw it at the same time and Mike posted it.
Right. Which is 2 turns at this track.
Jessica,
how do we want to bet it?
Can you set Dennis straight here? I got to put this.
Didn't impress you. How are you not impressed by a horse winning a 5.5 furlong race the way he did that? I mean, sure, maybe you don't want to bet him going forward because whatever reason he's going to be over bet, but I don't know how you can't be impressed.
He only set the national record, right?
Yeah. And I couldn't find for sure what the current world record is, but I found 2016. As of 2016, the record that the record for 5.5 in North America was the world record. So I don't know if that still is the case at this point, but it's 100% a North American speed record. So yeah, I don't think you could say that he wasn't as impressive as you first thought. I respect thinking he's going to be over bet from now on and choosing to go against him, but I think that horse has really figured out what he wants to do on the turf. And yeah, Baby Yoda, the kind of horse who just you never know when he's going to put in that type of effort, but he has those just incredible races in him.
Yeah, and normally at Saratoga, I mean, if you look at the speed figure, he had put up over 100 speed figure in Saratoga previously before that race. And I don't know if you remember in the chat, but after that race, I went Baby Yoda. Wow, that's what I put.
Yeah.
All right, let's get serious here.
How do we bet this? How do we try and make money on this race?
Curtain stretch are going 6. I don't see it here. It's like
there's that mile race behind Warriors Map. That's pretty good. The horse wants the 2 turns, I think. So there's that.
2 minutes to post.
But also, yeah, I did like the way the horse looked on the track.
Which one was that? I'm sorry, 6?
The 6. But on paper, I'm not super keen on the horse. Courtney Ross has been doing well so far. this meet. 2 wins, a second and a third from 6 starters. Sean's going 2 over 1, 3, 4, 6. So 2 overall. The 2 is now your favorite. I feel like we want to key in on the 4. It would be great to try and get the 3 in there. Do we try another exacta? Do we try that trifecta? I just don't have enough of a strong opinion in this race. I feel like to really, I think 2 to 1 is fair on the 4, though. What are you thinking?
I'm just not convinced on the 2 here. I'm just really not.
Do we try and fade that horse then, maybe?
Well, doing quick check in my head here is like they are slow tonight.
Mm-hmm. Not what I need. Do we like key the 4 with the 1, 3, 6 and hope that the 2 doesn't fire?
You know,
if that's a
it's
safe
funny
bet.
you say that, Jessica. I mean, that's exactly what I'm thinking in my head is doing a, but are you saying exacta?
Yeah, or do we try a trifecta? I don't know if we could get the 2 out of the try.
Yeah, but that was my concern. So what I was looking at doing was doing the 4 with the 1, 3, 6 with the 2. And see if we can
Okay.
split them.
Okay. Works for me. Got to put something in.
Yeah, so we are going to, oops. So that should be, we're in.
All right. Good luck, everybody. I forgot to
So we're going to try to
do the
split
sound.
these
Here we go.
papers.
And they're off. On the inside, not a cat but a card. Flashing early speed with Dino's Cape. Putting on the early pressure. 3 wide. That's going to be Side Street Dave. Watch the music. Hugging the rail. Couple lengths back in 4th. And the early trailer. Last Renegade. Only 4 lengths off the lead. The battle up front. Not a cat but a card. And Dino's Cape. These 2 nose and nose. While restrained Side Street Dave. Gonna get the 3 wide trip. Watch the music. A pile of horse, but a wave in front of him. And Last Renegade to the outside, starting to make a move to the far outside. Now it's Side Street Dave and Dino's Cape. As Not a Cat but a Card falters and goes back to 3rd. Last
Not looking
Renegade
good
on
for
the
us.
outside in 4th. And Watch the Music's gonna look for the rail trip. As they hit the head of the lane, it's Watch the Music with a perfect seam. In between horses,
Come on.
Last Renegade now pokes a nose in front.
He
Dino's
died.
Cape is battling back on the outside. 16th of a mile to go. Last Renegade, Dino's Cape, bobbing to the wire. Too close to call between Last Renegade and Dino's Cape.
That was a close one.
Music in third, fourth to Not a Cat But a Card.
4 went out there but did not finish the job at all.
You know, that's surprising because Ronald Ali has been riding really well, and tonight, not so much.
He just didn't have the horse, I feel like. Oof. I think that might have been inside. Very close. Tough to tell, though.
Cameraman likes the 2.
Yeah. Cameraman seems to know. He seems to be pretty good at
All right, that just cost us $6.
all right. 2 more races to get it back.
It only takes 1.
Exactly. I do like a horse a little bit in this next race that I think will at least be a reasonable price.
Well, and we get a 7-horse race too, finally. So maybe we can get some money
Right.
spread.
Yeah, the last 2 both 7 horses. So, and I think with the way they're dragging things out, I think I'll make it through the 6th, but I'll have to hop out after that.
Sounds good.
Since I gotta wake up at 4 a.m.
Must be pretty close. They're taking a while. The cameraman now, he is showing them both because he's not sure now.
Yeah. Saw the replay and went, maybe not. All right. Unofficial results is showing the 2.
Mike, we are not trying to rush our summer away. We got all kinds of good racing coming up before Turfway.
Right.
263.
All right.
So
Who
we
did
faded
end up going off
the
favorite.
wrong one. We should have faded the 4 and put the
Right.
2 on top.
Right. And we even said that the 4 was a vulnerable type of favorite, but he really did look like the one to beat just because he beat him last time. Sean got it. 6 got bet down late. I think that horse was up to 7-1 at one point in the betting, but with these pools, doesn't take a whole lot of money to move the needle here at Assiniboia.
It really doesn't.
You had the right long shot to pick up some pieces with the 3.
Yes, that was the one that I really thought that as far as long shot underneath. And that's what I said was I thought the horse could finish 2nd or 3rd and at a price.
All right, it is official. Let's see.
All right.
That's not the right race.
So you said you liked somebody
Right.
in here, Jessica. What'd you like?
I liked the 3 a little bit. I think the favorite makes sense, but I thought Amastar was just such a consistent horse last year. Ran a really good race, first off the layoff, getting beat a neck in that maiden race, and should be close to the front here, going 5.5. So I thought Amastar was a horse that made sense to be using in here. The 6 Cussing Cat makes some sense if he can get back. She can get back to some of those races last year. Probably ran too bad to be true. First off the layoff, but that's where I thought Ama's Star was a little bit interesting. And yeah, is sitting at 3-1 right now. And then Kentucky Jake was the other horse and is the other horse getting bet. Ran a decent race off the layoff last time. Finished third. Got beat by Private Frank, who won that race by 9 1/4. So, and then ended up winning a stakes later in the meet. So I think I'd probably go 3, 4, 6 in here. And I like those two works coming in for Ama's Star. What were you thinking?
So I see all three of those horses just in a different order. To me, when I was building, I told you when I was building my stable duel, I was looking for a couple of horses and to fill out my stable with the ones that I was going to play on top. And this was one that I put as one of my best bets, that I had to have this horse in my stable. And that was the 6. This is a huge drop in class for this horse. I mean, the horse is dropping down from allowance class, and for the first time is coming in here in a $7,500 claimer race. And if you look at the claiming price on this horse, I guess it's scaled claiming. So I didn't read the conditions completely. So yeah, but so. But this is a huge drop, and this horse has not competed down at this level. Won at first asking in a maiden special weight, then jumped straight up to allowance class, has run in a stakes race here at Assiniboia, and then has been nothing but allowance since then. So I just think that the class is too much sometimes. And in this race, I think that horse is clearly head and shoulders above everyone. This is one I can't play against personally. I just think that the 6 is head and shoulders. And then I actually had the 4 over the 3, but I see your 3. I totally agree with that. But I like the 4 a lot in here. This is another horse, when you look and talk about class, it's stakes race right off the bat. You know, you don't see that a whole lot. And then actually won a maiden special weight third out, right back into stakes racing and similar allowance class races. But Private Frank, you remember that horse last year, did really well. And this horse was running against Private Frank in those races where this horse was in and Private Frank was winning. Kentucky Jake was right there with Private Frank. So I like the horse a lot in here. And again, Bino has been riding well tonight and all meet long. And then Amastar is another one the layoff, as much as anything, I do think the works are really good coming into this race. But Allie, we'll see how Ronald Allie is doing. And but the one horse, I don't know why the one horse was the odds that the one horse was, but in the morning line, I don't like the one a whole lot here, but I think that it's probably just between those 3 horses, and I'm like solidly 6 on top, and I could key the 6 over the 3, 4, and play them either way, but I definitely think it's 6 for me.
Yeah, that's totally fair. The class is there. For sure. And, on the other hand, Amastar is the kind of the opposite horse facing winners for the first time. So I definitely get that. And I will say that 7-2 feels a little short for Amastar. I thought we would get like 5-1.
Yeah.
You're never, when you see a horse at 8-1 on the morning line at Assiniboia, you're not going to get that. But I was thinking we might get 5-1 on that horse, and 7-2 right now, a little bit shorter than I would like it. With Amastar at 7-2 and Kentucky Jake at 5-2, I definitely prefer Kentucky Jake at 5-2, and honestly 8-5 on Cuss and Cat, a little bit from 6-5 on the morning line. That's totally fair.
Yeah, I think that's actually a fair price, and if it got anywhere close to 2-1, I'd bet my 401k on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Dennis says he thinks the
But we'll
3
see
will
how
go off
things
5 to 1. So
fluctuate.
it's possible.
Yeah, I think we'll see. That I think that would be a fair price for that horse. And yeah, it's still
Yeah.
early betting, and these numbers
Right.
will fluctuate. They already are with the
Right.
6 at 3 to 2 and the 3 at 4 to 1. But I think those are the 3 horses that you need in here. And outside of that, I'm not really interested in anyone else.
No, me either. Let's take a look at something here.
Not sure if my internet's being funky there. It was cutting in and out for a second.
So the interesting thing to me right now is that the favorite in the exacta pool is the 4 over the 6.
Interesting.
Really interesting. And that one's paying
Yeah,
19.50. It's not a huge difference. The 6 over the 4 is 20.50. So a $1 difference, but
okay.
the 4 over the 6 is the favorite right now. And those are the 2 horses I see, 6-4. So
Yeah, and Sean, that's kind of where I'm a little bit suspicious of Cuss and Cat. That last race was just, it's one of those where it was just too bad to be true. It was a nice field, Mechanic Susie, really nice horse, and this is a drop. But the choosing to drop in for the tag is a little bit interesting. Dennis pointed out it's a filly facing the boys, so that's where the 93.75 claim price comes in. You can see that it's the same for the 1 and the 7, who are also both fillies.
right.
So I think that's what it is. But that last race does worry me a little bit with Cuss and Cat, and that's where I'm. She's definitely the horse to beat. I mean, if she's the horse she was last year, she should win pretty handily. But I think the 4 is a little interesting just because of the lack of that type of performance in his running line. So you do have to, come off the layoff. But I think 3, 6, 4, whatever order you'd like them in personally, I think those are the 3 that are that you have to consider. Although the on-track handicappers have a couple of different opinions. Kurt has the 7 in there, and Stretch has the 1.
I mean,
Greg's also asking, what about the 7?
The 1 was definitely a horse in the morning line that, it was second in the morning line, but it's just a horse. And that's what I was saying. I looked at this horse and I just, there's not a lot there. I mean, the connections is definitely something that you always have to be cautious with. And those lines, yeah, that last race was not great, but it was the first off a layoff last year. The horse came out in a maiden special weight 3rd, and then came out in a maiden claimer and got a 1st. So 2 for 3 in the money here so far to Assiniboia, but that was Chabi and Chow, and he's not even riding here this year. So, but Badri is definitely Prabham Badri is riding pretty well here, but I don't know what it is. This is the star there, so Manitoba breds all across the board here. So, but I couldn't like the horse. It's another Kentucky Bear. We know that they loved some Kentucky Bear up there. And the 4 also is with Kentucky Jake here. But, I honestly think that the 4-6 exacta here looks really good. It's to me, I see 2 standout horses in the 4 and the 6, and an exacta that's paying like 10 to 1. So I kind of like it either way.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Greg asks, what about the 7? And Dennis also thinks the 7 is his long shot. Both the 1 and the 7 are dropping. The 7 actually outfinished the 6 last time out. Has that debut race, maiden special, or Yeah, maiden special weight here at Assiniboia, and then went into a couple of stakes. So maybe you just toss those, and you're hoping that you can get back to the kind of horse that you saw on debut with Mobile Creek. And I can see it. There's a lot of horses in here who are kind of dropping in to try and find their spot,
Right.
which is always a little bit of a tough read for me. And is why I feel like I kind of prefer the 4 to the 6. Just because he's also dropping, but he's been a little more competitive in
Yeah, and
these
the
spots that
one
he's
thing for
tried.
me, the one thing for me against the droppers is when you're looking at droppers, I look at the other horses and it's like, okay, of all of them, even before they dropped, who's been competitive? And if you look at the running lines for all the horses, it's the 4, right? So the 4,
Yeah,
at least in
exactly.
those races, was competitive where the others weren't. So,
Exactly. And that's where I kind of would give the 4 the edge over the 6. But you do have the layoff to contend with versus the horse coming second off the layoff. And I don't have trainer stats because I'm using the player portal past performances, but that would be a case where I would probably look at trainer stats normally if I had access to that, which I usually do, but don't this week.
and just one more thing about the 6 that I'll say, and I totally agree with Sean, because Sean and I talk about this, and it's one thing you're wondering when they drop a horse, who, especially one who, had the move that this one had in the last race, and you're wondering if they're just trying to dump the horse. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Eventually you look at a horse like this with the running lines and what they've tried to do with the horse, and the horse has been last year competitive in that stakes race with a 3rd place, and in that class with the 2nd place finish. But so dropping to this level, I don't necessarily think this one in particular is a dump, even with that last race. I think that this is just probably, they're like, okay, this is the level. And
Yeah.
and if they lose the horse, fine. But I think that this is probably that, where the horse needs to be, as with some of these others. So that makes it competitive, obviously. But I still, and we'll take a look at them here. I still think that, to me, the 6 is the best horse in the race. And 6-4, 4-6, I could see it going the other way, but that's definitely what I like.
Yeah, I agree with you
The 4 is 8-5,
that
and the
it
6
does.
is 9-5. But it's still amazing to me that that they're still both paying about $20 as an exacta. So I just think that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely does seem more like a just attempting to find the horse's level
Right.
rather than trying to get rid of the horse.
All right, we're screwed. I take it all back.
Dennis is agreeing with you.
Yeah, no way I'll win now.
Definitely didn't mind the way the 3 looks on the track.
Yeah.
And now we're getting back to the kind of odds that I was hoping to see with the 3 at sitting at 6-1 right now.
Love the 6.
All right, couple of minutes left to go here. And definitely looks like the 6 and the 4 are just going to be vying for favoritism here. Matt likes the 3. Love to hear that Matthew DeSantis likes the 3 because that's who I've got, I think. But it does look like a 3-horse race to me on paper. And it would be 3, 4, 6 for me. Although the 7 is getting some play, is the 3rd choice in the wagering, and I wouldn't talk you off that horse. But just another one who's trying to find her level.
I definitely think the 3 is a player, but winning back, you know, when it takes you 12 races to break your maiden and then stepping up to this kind of class is definitely tough.
I tend to you hear it called the light bulb angle with a horse who takes a long time to kind of figure out what they're supposed to be doing out there. And then kind of the light bulb goes on and they realize what they're actually supposed to be doing. So I'm kind of hoping that's the case with Amma Star as a horse who was a lifetime maiden, ran second 5 times in her first 11
Right.
starts, but then broke through with that 5-length win. So I'm hoping that's a case of a horse who's figured out what he's supposed to be doing out there. But definitely first time winners is tough, especially you have these horses with some back class
Well, Jess,
dropping.
I did the last one, so we'll let you take the bet here.
Oh
So
boy.
whatever, however you want to play it, it's all yours.
Oh boy. So you
I
said
mean,
4, 6,
you heard my
6, 4 is both
consideration,
playing
but
pretty well.
you play your gut.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm kind of thinking look at the will pays or the probables real quick. To just like I would key the 4. I think the 4 is the horse that's most trustworthy in here.
Okay.
Key the 4 with a
key box?
3-6 in an exacta key box. Yep. That's what I want. I can't trust the 6.
We're down to our last 2 races and we still got money. So you want to do it for $5 exacta key box?
Sure, yeah.
There we go. $5 exacta key
All
box.
right.
4 with the 3-6.
Or do you just box all 3? Now I'm second guessing myself. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. Two minutes to post. All right. Thought we were getting closer back to our listed post times, but had a photo in there that took a while. A couple of photos tonight that took a little bit. Dennis saying he had a chance to see Travis Stone call a couple of races this weekend. And yeah, that's a heck of a job being a track announcer. I could never. Even just trying to kind of casually announce them here like we do on stream is tough.
It definitely is. I'll tell you, that view they've got there at Churchill, though, up there for him is incredible.
Mm-hmm. All right, who's everybody got in here? Rick's got 3 with the 4-6 exacta box. And then 3-7 with 3-7. Is that what you also got there? As we approach, 6 has clicked down to 8-5 now with the 4 at 5-2, 3 at 9-2. And then 7 at 5-1, 1 at 6-1, and then the 2 is the only horse that the players are not really given any shot to here. And yeah, it's been a while since that horse is.
This is our 4th race at 5.5 furlongs. In races 1 and 2, it was speed held on. In race 4, Kim's Texas Bling came flying at the end. So we have had a couple on the lead and 1 from behind.
Looks like Todd's got the 2. Devil's time. Going with that 25 to 1 shot in here.
It's
If
post
you could
time.
pull the feed.
Cavor will be the first one to load. One of the 3.
All right.
Good luck, everyone.
Devil's time steps up and in. Here comes Kentucky Jake. He's in. Get up early is now in. Cussin' Cat, the 7-5 favorite. She steps up and in. Just 2 left to load. Mobile Creek to the outside. She's in. And now just waiting on Star. The field is set. They're at the post.
Oh, geez. Oh, that's not good.
Devil's time.
Too reared up.
In the starting gate.
Yeah. Might need to back him out. It looked like he might have flipped.
Paris.
Couldn't tell for sure.
Looked like it, though. That's why they turned the camera off pretty quickly. So.
Mm-hmm.
The 6 is an overwhelming pick 3 will pay favorite. Pays $4.85. The 4 is $10.29. So less than half.
Oh, wow.
Slight delay into the running here in race number 6.
I'm surprised
I'd
they're
expect
not
them to
backing
take that horse
the road.
out.
They didn't even back
Right.
it out. The jockey's off behind.
You got the jockey off the 1. Oh, there's, yeah, that is the 2 also. Yeah, it looked like he was kind of, as Dennis said, kind of testing his foot there. And yeah, here we go. Now we get the horse out of the gate. Checked.
Number 2, Devil's Time, has been unloaded from
Scratch.
the starting gate and will receive a veterinary inspection.
The jockey doesn't look like he wants to get back on. He's over there.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, a late scratch or
Scratch
abort
it too.
in this
Yeah, that makes
sixth
sense.
race. Scratch number 2,
Backing them
Devil's
out.
Time. Once
So are they
again,
gonna
a
back
late
'em all out?
scratch or abort
Yep.
in this is 6th race. Scratch number 2, Devil's
Yep.
Time.
All right.
If you use number 2, Devil's Time, and are alive in the pick 5, pick 4, or late pick 3, the favorite at post time will be substituted. Late scratch here in the 6th race. Scratch the 2, Devil's Time.
All righty.
So much for that.
Yeah.
We didn't have the 2 anyway.
Nah. That horse didn't really look live on paper. So hopefully get him back to the barn all right and everybody will be okay. And hopefully Sachin Paris is all right too, because he definitely looked
Yeah, he looked pretty shook up.
pretty sore. All right. Let everybody stretch their legs for a second.
Yep, they
Reset
changed
here.
they got all of the numbers right. They moved the one out instead of everybody else in. Now let's get them back in and go.
Yep, please.
The horses are now reloading the starting gate. Cavour, the first one in.
Yeah, and that does,
Next up,
as Dennis
Kentucky
points
Jake.
out, put the 6 down at 4-1 now. Or 4-5, sorry. Like I said, it's getting late.
Get up early. Is now in. Next up, the 4-5 favorite. That's Cussin' Cat. Just 2 left to load. Mobile Creek to the outside.
Yeah,
Now
sorry
it's
to get your
waiting
hopes
on
up there, Dennis.
Star. The field is set. They're at the post.
All
And
right.
they're off.
Ooh, bumping between the 3 and the
From
4.
the middle of the track,
4 got a really bad start.
Showing good speed.
Mm-hmm.
Matched on the
3 came out
outside
into him a bit.
by Mobile Creek. Settled back in third. Star 2 lengths off of it. Then to the outside, get up early. Cavour on the rail. And the early trailer will be Kentucky Jake. Flashing it on the front end, the opening quarter, 23-1. Cussin' Cat and Mobile Creek.
Bino's got the 4 rolling.
Star watching the action, creeping up from third, making a move on the rail. Cavour starting to get
4's
into
flying.
it. And 3 wide, Kentucky Jake. They hit the head of the lane. And on the inside, still Cussin' Cat. Mobile Creek, these 2.
The 7 though.
Cavour trying to make up ground.
4 is going to beat them all.
Coming, but we don't have the 7 in the exacta.
No, we don't.
And Kentucky Jake has all the late run and is going to win it by a length and a half.
It's like 4-7-1, and I know there were a couple people in the chat who liked the 7, and good call there.
Yes.
I know Dennis was one of them. Vince went 6 with used the 7 underneath, but with the 6. And Greg was the other one who brought up the 7 horse here.
Six did nothing.
And yeah, Cussin' Cat faded late, went out to the front, but I mean 7 kept on, and Cussin' Cat did not.
So much for my stable duel.
The Stewart's supposed to number 4, Kentucky Jake. As your race winner, a photograph has been called to determine the place and show positions. They went the opening quarter 23-1, the half 47 seconds, 5 furlongs, 1 minute and 3/5. Time for the 5.5 furlongs.
So if you look in 5th place right now in the free game and stable duel, SPN Nation.
Creek finishing second.
Well
Third
done.
goes to number 1, Cavour. 4th to number 6, Cussin' Cat.
All right.
And 5th,
I've got to
number 3,
step out.
Star.
No
Gotta
worries.
wake up in 5 hours. So have a good night, everybody. Best of luck with the last race. Thanks so much, Tim, for taking this last one on alone.
Got it. No problem.
And
Have a
best of
good
luck,
trip
everybody.
home.
Yeah,
Be safe.
thanks.
All right. Dennis should have canceled his bet, but he didn't. But here's the good news. If you've lost any money tonight, Dennis Trusty is refunding all wagers plus 20%. You know it was coming, Dennis. He is the man. Been taking everybody's money. All right, we got one more. Let's end this on a positive note here because that was not good. So Let me update our bankroll here. All right, we had a big win starting out, and now we've like gone backwards. So we definitely need to get a hit here. So let's book in the card. We had a big win in the first. Let's get a big win here in the last and finish on the positive side of things. So this next race coming up, we've got an allowance optional claimer for 15,000 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2 races other than maiden claiming starter or restricted, or which have not won 4 races or claiming 15,000. So in this race, we've got a field of 7 horses. And we've got a horse that a lot of people like in the number 2, Chicago's Gray. This is a horse for Lise Pruitt, Antonio Whitehall getting the mount. The horse is 3 wins and 2 seconds in 8 races at Assiniboia. He's got a win and 2 seconds in 5 races at the distance. Was off since last year, came back on the 20th of May, ran a 5-furlong race in similar conditions and finished second, beaten a Nick. So this horse is clearly going to be your favorite in this race, and deservingly so. It's the horse that I thought was definitely going to win. Morning line was 8-5. The horse is currently sitting at even money. I definitely think it's a horse that we have to consider on top. When you go beyond that one, though, it starts to open up a little bit more. The 5 horse in here, Brody Streak, is the horse who, in the aforementioned race that I said, Chicago's Gray got beaten by a neck. This is the horse that did that. So Brody Streak just came out of a race that beat Chicago's Gray. I think that Chicago's Gray, though, turns the tables here. The question is Brody Streak going to be there? Because Brody Streak is going to want the lead in here. Chicago Gray is going to potentially set a little bit back with Whitehall. That's typically how he would ride it. I'm thinking he's going to be a little further back, but if he doesn't, then maybe he's the one that gets beaten here. The 7 horse Stay Happy is another one, another Assiniboia regular that many of us are familiar with. This horse has ran well in the past, came back on the 20th of May in a 5-furlong race, and the same one that Brody Streak and Chicago's Gray were in. Finished well beaten in that one. I'm totally against this horse in here. And Ronald Alley, as we've already seen, I've mentioned him a couple of times. He has not been riding well tonight, so we're going to completely fade that one. For my next horse, I'm going to the 3 Blazing Bow. This is a horse who in that same race finished a nice 3rd in there, was kind of even. And if you look, was a little bit wide in that race. But I think that this is a horse that out of Chicago's Gray and Brody Streak, this is a horse that could probably move forward off of that race. The other 2 are kind of at the level they're at. And if they get out in a speed duel, this will be the horse that could potentially blow by them both in the stretch. And we've seen lately, Speed did pretty well in the first couple of races, but over the last few races, it's been horses coming from off the pace a little bit more, and Blazing Bow would potentially be that horse in here. Another one here that could potentially play a little bit is the 4 Gallant Oak is another one that comes out of that same race. So most of these are coming back out of the same race here. We will see what happens. What do you guys think? Yes, Dennis, that's what I said after I saw your comment. When I knew you were betting what I was betting, I should bet something else. But That's all right. So what do you guys like? I do like the fact that if you look at Chicago's grays, if you look at the Chicago's gray, the workout line in here since the last race, Sean will tell you that this is an angle I like a lot. I don't see it a lot at Assiniboia, and when you do see it, it's something that I like a lot, and that is these horses don't typically work a lot when they start running because they're running so frequently. You don't see a lot in the workout line, and this horse has a nice bullet work, 47 breezing, 4 furlongs and 47. First to 4 for the day. That's a pretty nice workout line. And the fact that they even worked the horse again, Blazing Bow is another one that got to work on the same day, worked 5 furlongs that day. So another horse that I definitely like in here. Brody Streak worked the 1st of June, 5 furlongs, 101 and 4. So it looks like most of them have worked again. I guess they're working their way back into shape here early in the meet, but you don't typically see that a lot later on. What do we think? Let me also pull up my screen here so we can share that, because the good folks at Assiniboia allow us to share the races. So we will definitely do that. Although I've had trouble tonight when I was trying to share my screen with being able to get the sound to come through for you guys. So let's see if the sound comes through now. You guys let me know.
He gets brave. Last time, Duels opened up and got beat late to Brody, which is the 5. I like the workout coming in. This horse is a runner going short, and that's what you're getting here, 6 furlongs.
You guys hear that sound at all?
Or an extra furlong compared to the last one. The Chicago's gray went. Work. I think that's key. So I like it to run big again in here today. For sure. And I'm using this similar angle as we saw in the stake race. The Gallant goat, the 4 horse, went 5 furlongs. This horse is an absolute closer to a 7.5 mile right type horse. Might still be a little bit short, but at 8-1, for me, it's worth a shot. If speed backs up, sometimes over the years, if the race shape or the bias changes in the last race or so for whatever reason, and that's what I'm hoping if the 2 falters to bring in the 4. And also look at number 7, Stay Happy. This is a horse that was bet down as the favorite against the 2 and the 5, but didn't run the race. Had the winter racing under the belt, came off a win at the $10,000 level in Turf Paradise. This horse does know how to win at Assiniboia Downs, as a big win last year early on. But after that,
Are you guys hearing the audio or not? I saw a comment. Todd said he couldn't hear it.
So stay happy. If it runs on the base, it's not going to have much of a shot. But if it does that off the base running,
I'm hoping it's not just picking up through my mic, but
much better chance.
Yeah, you look at 2 bats for sure. That's the running style I hoped for last time. Let's go to the 6.
Colin Sleepy Time Horse is the 5 in here. That's always a solid angle for those of you who haven't been around. Colin on these late night broadcasts in the last race typically comes through with the horse that he thinks looks like it's asleep and probably won't run. And the record has been that the horse has come in on the positive side of the performance more often than the sleepy side. Yeah, I think it's picking up through my mic. I don't know why I can't get it to come through here.
Usually I like to do a $3 exactor box. I'm up in it to the $4 exactor box, 2, 3, and 4. Yes, I've got one speed horse. I've got a couple closers. So 2 puts away the speed, maybe closers come late. So you can do a $1, 2, 3, and 4. That's $6. But I'm so confident I've upped it to 4.
I'm confident too that Chicago's Grace going to make the lead and catch me if he can. I'm putting it on top with the 5-6 for second and the 3-4, 5-6 for third. A $1 ticket is $6. I'm doing a $3 one for 18. Good luck with all your wagers here in race 7, and we'll see you back tomorrow, 6:45 Central for ASD Live.
All right, I'm trying one more time. All right, let's check out the post parade. The post parade picks have been doing pretty well today. So let's see who we like in the post parade.
They're going to go 6 furlongs for $18,500. Number 1 is Courageous, owned by Eddie Plain, trained by Maria Sanford. Here's number Stevenson.
We'll pass on the 1.
Number 2 is Chicago's Grace, owned by Lola Dice, to the goal 1 Finlay. And Artisan Farm.
This is definitely the horse that I thought was going to win coming into the race just based off of past performances.
Gary Hamilton with Sven Bauer. Number 5 is Brody Street, owned by Black Diamond Stable and Larry Henry. Trained by Tom Murphy Jr. with Rishon Knight. Number 6 is Bossy Holiday, owned by 2 Points and trained by Carl Anderson with Daniel Patterson. Finally on the field is number 7, Stay Happy, owned by Jared Brown. Classic high-five wagering here in race number 7. We'll go to post in approximately 3 minutes.
All right, we got about 3 minutes. Sean, as is usual, that is exactly the way that I'm leaning on betting this race. I would like to be able to find value beyond those 3, but that's just exactly the way I see it. My confidence has grown in the 5, though, with it being Colin's Sleepy Time horse. So interesting, though, that that horse has actually floated up to 6-1 from a 5-2 morning line. And Chicago's Gray is now 3-2. Dennis, when I see something like that, it just tells me you like the 2, but you're just trying to hope the horse doesn't win, and you don't know who to take because you know you need to take the 2. Take what they give you.
Quite a bit. Let's go with the two. Looking at the speed of the speed. They were up a little bit short last time. Comes in with a late workout.
Definitely going to have to figure out why the sound on this broadcast doesn't come through on my computer. We'll have to figure that out before next week. But still got about 352 people viewing. If you haven't done so, this is the last race. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you like the broadcast. Check back with us next Monday for Monday Night Lights. And if you're looking for a little live handicapping and wagering in between, join us this Thursday night for the Cocktail Lounge. I know that Sean will be back on with me for sure. And I think Keith is going to join us late, and who knows who else from the Prophets will be dropping by, but hopefully we can get a few more of the folks to come spend some time with us, have a couple of drinks, bet some horses. We typically bet Woodbine. We did Woodbine and Churchill last week. Actually had a really good night. Right off the bat, hit a nice code trifecta and exacta in the first race that we bet at Churchill. So that kept us up for the night. But overall, we hit 4 or 5 exactas in addition to that try. So a really good night last Thursday. All right. I don't think we need to wait around any longer. So right now, let's see, Todd's in 78th. Mitchell's right behind him in 79th. So Sean did not have a horse in the last race, so I believe he dropped down a little bit, but he's got our favorite in here, so he could still make up a good close. He's sitting in 33rd. I was trying to find some of the others. Where's everybody else at? So there's our official bet. We're going to actually bet our trifecta in here. We're going to go with a $2 trifecta, 2 with 357 for $12. Finish up the night. Bring it home. Even with the chalk on top, this should put us back up if we hit it. Good luck to everybody. What's everybody else betting? Todd's going 3 with 2.5. Okay. Sean, is that what you bet? 2 with 357? Did you go exact or try? I'm going to make sure that I put in the same bet for myself here. Always play along. Good luck to everybody except Dennis. Sorry, Neil. No, I missed your comment, but no, we're not boxing. We're keying the 2 with the 3, 5, 7 underneath. So the 2 needs to win, and any combination for second and third between the 3, 5, and the 7. It must be techno night at Assiniboia. All right. Horses have finally reached the gate. Does anybody ever play the classic high five? I see them putting that on the screen all the time. I rarely even play a superfecta. I never play the classic high five. All right, Todd, we went from techno to what the hell is this?
Courageous, the first one in for the nightcap.
Let's go.
Blazing Bow walks in. Next up, Gallon Oak. Brody Street walks in. Here comes Bossy Holiday. Very quick load, just 2 left to go. Stay Happy. And waiting on the 65 favorite, Chicago Gray.
Let's go, Antonio. Bring them home.
From the middle of the track, Bossy Holiday. Showing some speed, as is Gallon Oak. In between horses, Brody Street. On the rail, Chicago's Gray, after a slight stumble, is now poking the head in front. Back to second, Brody Street. 3 wide, Stay Happy. 2 lengths back to Gallon Oak. Then it's Bossy Holiday, Blazing Bow. Has about 8 to make up. And Courageous is the trailer. About 15 off of it. The opening quarter, 23-1. And it's Chicago's Gray on the inside. Brody Street showing good run. And these 2 cut the half mile in a sizzler. 45-3. Brody Street on the outside with the best stride. Chicago's Gray back to second. A rally from Gallon Oak. But this is all Brody Street drawing away on this field and gonna win by 5. Rallying for second, Blazing Bow. Stay Happy in third.
Unbelievable.
Go to Gallon Oak in fifth. To Bossy Holiday.
So our 3, 5, 7 that we had underneath was the actual trifecta, and the 2 did nothing. Absolutely nothing. Well, that's not a good finish. The 5 was the sleepy time pick. Colin Sheehan coming through for the people again with the sleepy time pick. Brody Streak. Should we call it Colin Streak? He's 1 for 1 with sleepy time picks.
Brody Streak has the race winner. Second goes to number 3, Blazing Bow. Third to number 7, Stay Happy. Fourth to number 4, Gallon Oak. And fifth to number 6, Bossy Holiday. They went the opening quarter 23-1. The half 45-3. 5 furlongs, 58-2. Time for the 6 furlongs, a snappy 112.
The half and 45. Crazy, crazy fractions. Well, you got the even money favorite out of the trifecta. So if you had that 537, congratulations, should pay pretty decent. Getting the even money favorite Chicago's gray out of there.
Now entering the winner's enclosure, the official winner here in race number 7. That's number 5, Brody Street.
All right. Let's check the payouts, see what the payouts are, and call it a night. Don't forget again, we will be in the cocktail lounge at about 6 o'clock on Thursday night. Make sure you join us then. A little Woodbine and Churchill Downs on a Thursday night. So if you had that exact 5-3, $16 for $1, the 20-cent try pays $18.06. The super was $52, and that high 5-3-7-4-6, $492 for $1. Not too shabby. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for the night. Late night at Assiniboia, ending up at 11:30. Yes, the streak of the last race favorite. We got to start betting against that one, Sean, for sure, because it is definitely crushing us when we bet the favorite in the end. Carolina Moon, good night. Thanks for joining us. Everyone else, thanks for joining in. Hope to see you all Thursday night in the cocktail lounge. Until then, riders up.